Sit back and relax while I listen to Train Kickers podcast. I'm Dave, and along with my co-hosts Dan and Steve, we're going to take you all around the world of miniature wargaming. On tonight's episode, we're going to go through the last 4 Traitor Legios from the Traitor book for Adeptus Titanicus. In particular, we're going to go through Laniaskara, Kulisaetai, Damicium, and Tritonis. Now, just like last time, I want to mention this at the beginning rather than at the end, just in case you don't quite make it to the end if you find your favorite Legio to listen to. If you're listening to this on any podcatcher, whatever you use, reviews, everything like that really helps us out. If you're watching this or listening to this on YouTube, likes and subscribe really help us, not only to get better notice, but to be able to help grow the channel in the ways that we like. And now, on to the show. All right, and how are we doing this fine evening here, gentlemen?
I'm doing good. Came back from a wonderful event run by Sean, who was in the podcast last time. Mm-hmm. And yeah, no, it was absolutely amazing. I had so much fun. For the first time ever, one of the I always took a relic since, I think the book came out 2 or 3 years ago. And there was always a 30-point relic that I always took because it sounded custodian and it looked cool.
Okay.
And I always took it. It doesn't do fucking anything 99% of the time. Basically, for those listening at home, it allows custodians to deny, which you normally can't do on a leadership, which is like the old psychic could. And then if you're facing demons or demons of the Ruinstorm, it reduces them to weapon skill 1. So they basically can't hit you.
And this was a 30K event, yes?
Yeah, 30K event. But it's funny because that day, not only did I play against demons, which I tied that game because the Khorne demons get victory points for anyone who dies in close combat, you or him.
Nice.
Which, super fluffy. I loved it. Yeah, I'd kill him, he gets a point. He kills me, he gets a point. So yeah, that was kind of cool. And then I played another game against Thunder Warriors, which was really fluffy because Custodians versus Thunder Warriors. And then I played against Word Bearers, and one of the biggest thing Word Bearers have is like Galvorback.
Yeah.
Which are demonic space marines. They hit at strength 10 with their power fists. They're very scary. And I realized that, oh my God, they're demons. So all their scary tricks, they hit me on weapon skill 1s. They hit me on 6s or 5s, but the shields reduce it to 6. So it was funny that it finally, after years of me paying the 30 points for no reason, it finally came into fruition.
Now, is that just because you happen to never face the armies where that mattered?
Yeah, so I always took it. First of all, I always took it as a just in case.
Okay.
Because custodians don't have a way to deny, and sisters don't deny in that game either. So let me rephrase. In 30K, everyone can deny. What happens is you roll, you get allowed a certain amount of dice.
It's old fantasy.
It's
basically,
old fantasy.
you
and then
roll
you deny
for your psychic charge, which is like the winds of magic.
So
you
let's say you
dice
get 4
you then
dice.
allocate to attempt spells.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Each 5 up is a success.
No,
or is
6
it
up,
4?
6 up,
4,
6
but 4 up to cast, and then 6 up to deny.
Yes.
And there's a few ways to get bonuses, like Adamantium Will, having your own psychers, but generally what happens is you sit there, wait for the one spell you don't like the sound of in the name, and just throw all your dice in and hope to get a bunch of 6s.
So this gives them 1 deny on a leadership, and their leadership 10. So it's like it's a good deny, essentially.
That's Icon of the Blazing Sun, yeah?
Yeah, Icon of the Blazing Sun. But but like the demon thing never came into fruition, or because me and Steve were talking about. There's really no demons in 30K. There's demons of the Ruinstorm, obviously. That whole army's demon. But like actual demon models, there's Galvorback, the corrupted Contemptor, and then we figured out summon demons also technically count as demons.
And psychers, when they fail a psychic, when they have a perils of the war,
it's very rare
and roll a 6 on the table for a turn, they count as a demon as they're infused with warp energy, and they get all kinds of silly buffs.
But it was hilariously funny that I literally got into a game
2 of them.
It worked. 2 of them that it worked. Although the one game I tied because Khorne, but that one game the Galvorback just didn't hit me, and I was like, oh my God, because they insta kill custodians too. They literally just insta kill me because they double out my toughness.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this is great. But no, it was a fun game. The boards were beautiful. The armies were beautiful. I posted some up on my Instagram. But yeah, no, it's just
painting minis for those wondering.
Yeah, no. Cuban _painting _minis. I don't think I've ever shilled my Instagram, funny enough.
Don't worry, I shilled for you.
Yeah. No, you have before. We actually put it in show notes at one point.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, I did, because you don't do
But
any
yeah,
of
no.
the work
So
around here.
I posted some freaking beautiful pictures. The armies were great. And both my loner armies. I know I talked about this last time. Both my loner armies were used too.
Was
So
the
I
demon
brought
army
demons
you
and I brought
faced your
dark
loner
back.
army?
Yeah, I did.
Yes.
Okay.
Which
Dan was
was
playing
good.
with
I didn't
himself
mind
in the
it.
first round, and we all laughed at him for it.
So I didn't mind it because the guy was actually a new player. So I was actually learning my own army with him.
And you built a
Um,
counter in for the army
no,
that
no,
you
no, no,
wanted to
no,
play
no.
In
into
his
the
own
army you
army,
might play
yes.
against.
Yes, the
You
weird
know,
thing
for the
about
last
this.
2 days, I've been trying to figure out how Dan bribed Sean. I'm like, I didn't see any cash change hands, and it finally just clicked. Like when we were talking just now, the bribe was Sean runs a great event. I had a great time. Well, no wonder he got all his favorable matchups.
But yeah, no. So it was long story short, it was a very good. I loved playing. The demons rocked. The blood demons were really cool to see being played. Um, yeah, no, it was just overall just cool event. Just amazing event.
Yeah, there were some, like Dan said, there were some beautiful armies at that event. I have, give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna look up a list of all the
Well,
armies.
while you're
I
doing
wrote
that,
down what we
one of the
had.
ones, there are two of them I'm going to point out. One was an Iron. The guy in the Iron Warrior Facebook chat goes, "Oh, they're not finished," and I'm like, "You." Now he does paint some beautiful work, by the way, but he comes in with this fucking beautiful ass Iron Warrior list, and he's like, "Well, I didn't paint the lenses here. I didn't do this and that." I'm like,
Is
"You,
this Mr. Dreadnought?
yeah," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"You small bitch. They look beautiful. Get the fuck out of here." I was so bad. And then there was one more that was beautiful, and that was it was militia. I want to say it was militia. Um,
Which militia? There were two militia armies,
the one
both
with all
using
the
Maker's Call.
ogrins, the one with all the ogrins in it.
They both had all the Ogrins
Oh
in it.
fucking Christ! Uh, the green
This is
one.
how much
It's
you
the
know.
nice second. There was a green one. I don't know.
Um,
Point is, those are my two favorite. Those are my two favorite. What about you? He's still looking.
Okay.
yeah, I'm trying to. I had the list. I had it all written down, and I posted it in like 3 places, and I can't find any of those 3 places now. I should have probably just had it on hand, but hey ho, Okay, I found it.
There you
This
go.
is not the one that's nice and alphabetized, but the other one that I list not alphabetized, in Legion order. But the one in Legion order is like lost to our local chat because Dan put in 10,000 messages.
You don't have to
You
be all
do that.
sassy.
You
You
do
don't
that,
be
but
all
the thing is, you
sassy.
do that in every
It's not
single chat
my
you're
fault.
ever
I
in.
was driving today. Okay. So let's see if I could like ad hoc get this in order. So we had Dark Angels, two Iron Warriors players, one that was a gold army built around Terminators. Gold is to be missed in the new edition because rumor has it he's not sticking around. And the other one, which is the one Dan's talking about, was a loyalist army built around dreadnoughts and Terminators, which was based on the 77th Grand Battalion, allegedly. I don't know, man. I think the players want to feel special being the loyalist traitor. Um, let's see, and then we had let's see, that's 4, 5, 6, 7. Nope, didn't have 7. Legio. 8. We had Night Lords. Those are run by a guy that's hosting another event this coming weekend. Well, I don't know how it's gonna work out for anyone listening, but for us talking in the room, it's the coming weekend. That guy's running an
What
event.
day's the event?
Saturday. This week that would be the. God, I'm bad at math. The 7th.
Yeah, the 7th. So May 7th. Okay.
Yep.
This will be out by
Yeah,
Friday. There's
Great.
that's usually what I go with. I mean, there's a small chance it gets delayed, but it's usually out by about 10 a.m. on Friday. So it will be out there, whether or not that means anything to the people listening, time wise.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. So the Putnam guys are putting on an event. Dan was like, "Wait, there's still a slot left."
That's the 15th, though. That's the 15th.
Oh, is that the 15th?
Yeah. Oh no, that's not this
I'm
weekend.
I'm exceptionally bad at calendars. Ignore
Yeah, no, that's
everything
the
I
15th.
say.
Wait, is it the 15th? Now I have to. Oh, hold on. No, it's the 15th. Hold on, no. It is the 15th because I remember I was like super excited because it wasn't like back-to-back weekends I'm going. So I was like, yeah, it's
And what's
Sunday,
going
May
on this
15th.
weekend? I thought I had something else. Anyway,
Oh,
so yes, we had Night Lords. We had. I couldn't tell if it was Iron Hands or if it was Black Shields, and I totally forgot to
it was
ask.
Black Shields.
It was Black Shields.
Yes, because we were making a joke of, holy shit, there are two Black
Two
Shield
Black Shields
players.
players. Yep.
And we were like, what?
So yeah, we have Black Shields then. There is no 11th Legion. We had two World Leaders players. One had a couple more dreadnoughts than the other. They both, yeah, they were World Leaders players. They were very into just slaughtering things in melee. It was great to watch. Then we had an Ultramarines player rocking those Invictus Suzerain, get some board and shields going in the boarding action scenarios. We didn't have any Death Guard. Just surprising. We normally have like two of those in our area.
That was very surprising. I will agree. That was very
yeah.
surprising.
We did have Thousand Suns, also from the Putnam group. This was a beautiful army that was themed around the destroyer cult of the Thousand Suns, which would be the Order of the Jackal. Instead of having everything like that candy red you usually see, about half the force was painted in, I think it was a glossy black, right? I can't remember. But it was painted black. Yeah.
I will say, I've played this guy before. Sorry. I played this guy before when I was at the Philadelphia convention. What the hell was it called? I keep forgetting the damn name.
Unplugged.
PAX Unplugged, yeah. I played him at PAX Unplugged. His army so he actually broke his Contemptor by accident. Ooh. And he actually reposed it. No. He reposed it to be like leaping over a thing. It just looks really cool now. Like, he's a really cool dude. His army looks beautiful. Just amazing stuff.
It was a really cool army. I walked out like, oh shit, wait, that's Order of the Jackal. Because like he had like custom heads on models. Like it was a cool army. Let's see, we had Word Bearers. That was a cool one. It used the what are those like the little demon robots from 40K? That comes in the start collecting box, like the Venom Sight or something like that, Venom Crawler. I don't know. But I used those guys as Castellax, which was actually a pretty neat substitution to fit the theme. And it was like de-chaosified, but still chaosy, which I thought was kind of nice, like a throw forwards, I guess you could call that.
Wait, who has these models? What faction are you trying to think of?
Chaos Space Marines. It's in their start collecting box. It's like that little, like, it looked like a giant termite or something, like that big bulbous bag, like the little angry half demon, half machine face in the front.
God, I'm looking this up. I'm trying to figure out what you're talking about.
Look at the start collecting box, or what do they call it? Battle Force?
Not that guy. Not like a Forge Fiend or a Mauler Fiend, is it?
No. It's this little thing that was in Dark Imperium and the start collecting.
Right,
it's not available separately.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try to look up their start collecting because that's gonna bug me till I figure out what it is. But
I have no idea what he's talking about. I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, I have no idea.
I don't know the name of it because like no one runs it because it's not good. But like, it was actually a fairly cool substitution for Castellax because the guy was running a Praevian, so he fluffed it up as like like an early demon infused engine, and a guy kind of goading it along.
Spiderbot.
Venom
I can't
Crawler.
remember what the hell Spiderbot's called.
Venom Crawler.
Venom Crawler. Thank you.
It is Venom Crawler. Okay.
It's Venom Crawler.
Yeah.
I've never seen that thing before.
Robots. Well, it's because no one runs it because it's no good.
Yeah.
And you can only get it in Dark Imperium and start collecting. And most Chaos players have been playing for 10 years and are very salty about everything. So why would they get the new stuff that's not even worth playing? And it's only in the start collecting box. Yeah. But then we also had a Salamander's army that was pretty much all Fire Drakes. It bopped the poor Orc player on the head real hard. Oh yeah, we had an Orc player. That was fun.
We did. We did have an Orc player.
We had Orcs. Let's see. We had Alpha Legion. And that is all of our Legion players. Then we had, as I mentioned, we had two militia players. We had a Thunder Warriors army, which is being run as Black Shields with the Chimera type. So they got Strength 5, Toughness 5, and they took all the upgrades, gave them like the worst armor, but like trade-off benefits. So it was like, not quite power armor army, but still being beefy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was really cool. It hits pretty hard. Not as hard as Solar Auxilia do, apparently. One of the scenarios did a lot of damage to me. Then we had the Orc player, and we had two militia players. I think that's everyone. Oh, and Dark Mechanicum. The Dark Mechanicum that Dan brought in.
Yes,
That
I
was
did believe
loaned
this.
out very last second. Like one of the guys dropped in, like, I just want to, check out the armies people brought. Maybe meet a couple of the guys in the community. Like, oh, are you free? He's like, yeah, I guess. All right, come here. Help me co-pilot this army. I've walked him through like a turn and a half. I'm like, are you good? Okay, I'm gonna go check on some of the tables, see how they're all doing. I'll be back in a minute. I just wandered off, checked every now and then. By the end of the day, he kind of knew how his stuff worked for the most part. It was pretty cool to watch.
Nice. I'm glad you guys had a good day with
It was
that.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun. I played in only one game because I was co-hosting.
Mm.
I wasn't an event organizer. I just, ran the venue. So I was bouncing around, helping answer questions, just taking in the atmosphere, and it was great.
All right. I guess that just takes us into hobby and things like that. Have either of you done much else besides that? I mean, that seems like it took up your weekend, and it's not really been. It's not been under a week since we recorded last.
I kind of started working on the big monsters because I wanted to stop working on the small bloodletters.
Yeah.
So yeah, I finally did the Gorgon with the 4 axes, which looks really really cool. I think that looks really cool. Put them on the right base. I built the Gorgon. I built the Slaughter Brute. I built behind me 2 Bloodthirsters, Scarbrand, and then 6 more brutes. And then all I'm waiting for, honestly, is just whatever's being printed by Bo, and I'm done. Honestly, that's literally all of it, which is actually kind of cool.
Nice. How about you,
That's
Steve?
it
You
for
been able
me.
to get up to anything else?
Just working on terrain for this event, and then, yeah. I put together a Zone Mortalis table for it over the last month and a half. Basically, as GW trickle fed me all of the stuff I ordered 2 months ago, I immediately set about just putting it together, painting it, and I got it mostly done to a passable standard. I had 2 really nice tables, and like I kind of squeezed out an extra table out of stuff.
Yeah,
That one
that's
was not nearly as nice. Had some unpainted stuff, but it functioned. But yeah, no, not much.
yeah. I think for me, it's at this point just still been more with the Necrons. They're reasonably close to done, at least for what I have. All the flavored ones are together. About 25 of them need another about hour total, and those set of 25 will be done. The other ones just need a little bit more airbrush work. And then the hope is for this Friday to be finished up a reasonable 2K list. Because the other day when I was at the store, I could have played, but it would have been, 2K is usually what most people like to play, and it would have been a pretty ugly list. So now it'll be something I'll feel a little bit more comfortable with. And then waiting for some of my Dark Angel stuff to get in. Is there a good spot to get just like cheap Marines to practice on? Because I want to try out my paint schemes, but since I don't
Yeah,
play Space Marines, I don't have any.
yeah. Actually, you know what the weird part is? You
Yeah.
kind of just ask around. People usually have extra Mark 3s or 4s,
Well, it
or
doesn't need
usually
to be that. Like, it could literally be like from GW's, learn to paint set or something like that. I don't care to mark any of that stuff. It's literally some random, it's like a good way to get a random guy so I can test the way I want to do black on them, because Dark
I
Angels
see
are
what you're
black, but I don't want to
saying.
juice a flat black. That's kind of boring.
I don't actually
Yeah,
know.
I wonder
They
if
don't have any. They used to have those sets, 3 Space Marines for like $10. That was just, let me grab this, try some paint schemes out. They don't do that anymore.
do they
No, they
not?
don't.
Yeah, I do
I
remember when they used to
probably
do that.
I
have
mean,
enough spare Corn Berserker bits to throw together a couple bodies.
Yeah, I might
I
have
could
to
pass
look
those
and
along to
see.
Dan to pass along to you.
Yeah, that could work. Yeah, because that's what I'm thinking about now. Is I have some until the starter set comes out for 30K. A lot of the stuff I have is more characterful models, and I don't want them to be the ones where I'm testing the style that I want to do the black. Like, do I want to do it?
no, I agree.
Towards normal shades of grays? Do I want to do it in shades of greens into the black to kind of highlight where they're going, all of that. So I'm curious. That could work. I'll also see maybe they do have some of them at the store, like those little. They used to do those like little start boxes and stuff like that. Some little cheap things, but or I'll see if they just happen to have like some Space Marine from 10 years ago sitting around that no one uses. So, but that's the only thing I've been doing. I haven't been doing too much of anything, but all right. We are going to skip news at the moment because for anyone who is keeping up with the news, GW is doing its sort of reveal days. They start Wednesday or Thursday? Was it the 4th or the 5th?
Thursdays for Heresy.
Okay. So they're doing that. So obviously we'll discuss that news or other news once they reveal everything there. So we figured what we would do today then is start going back through or try to finish up the section that we're doing for Titanicus. We have 4 Legios left to do out of the Traitor book. Once those are done, we'll discuss where we want to go, if we want to go straight to the other Legios or we want to finish stuff out of this book first. I think I speak for all of us here when I say this, that I don't know if any of us had any experience with any of these Legios that we're going to discuss. We actually, shortly before the show, were even talking about, well, okay, who wants to do which one? Because we don't happen to know anything about any of these Legios. So bear with us on any of that. And also on potentially these pronunciations, we're going to choose kind of what we agree on or what we like. And there is absolutely a chance the pronunciations are wrong. That's fine.
Thank the Emperor for Low Gothic we could all understand and speak.
Yeah. All right. So I will start off. So I have Legio Laniaskara. What's these guys? Their little name? Oh, the Impalers. Oh, that's cool. Oh yeah, their symbol. I actually like their symbol. That's actually because normally we put out calls for like pictures we can put on YouTube and stuff like that and just make it more interesting. I usually don't see people talk about any of these, but I did see someone talk about them. They were asking if someone knew a spot where they could get essentially transfers for their symbol and all, because it's this sort of it's the cog wheel with an impaled skull dripping 3 droplets of blood out the bottom. So I will say, all right, so we'll go as always, we'll discuss a bit of the fluff in the story, and then we'll read through the rules and have a discussion on that. All right, so for these guys, so the Mechanicum sent out small fleets or splinter fleets to various worlds to mine for resources, to set up shop for a variety of purposes. They sent them out to the planet that they ended up being on, because in their in the information that Mars had, essentially this should have been idyllic, a great and wondrous world. When they actually get there, the world, it's Vala Maximal is the main Forge world. When they got there, it was essentially a ruined hellscape. Caustic seas, everything like that. Just a very tough planet. Over the course of a long amount of time, they're able to eke out a living there. They end up having a theocracy, all of that. They ended up having some different issues. So they were more of a Czech tribe, as they talk about it in the fluff. Yeah, they talk about all of that. So they also mention how for the Legio, so for Laniaskara, for them up and coming, parts that did it is after a few decades after they ended up showing up, they were visited by where's the actual name of the thing? Oh yeah, it's a union between mankind and Xenos. It was a conclave that had laid claim to the world. So they said, and as it turns out later on, they had seeded the world to be like this for themselves, to help them out. They ended up fighting. It took several decades. Is it decades or centuries for them to be able to win. So they were able to beat out this conclave, and then the Imperium showed up. And they had already fought off someone who said that this is our world, that we're supposed to control it. So they tried to fight the Imperium. The Imperium sent Ravenguard with Legio Astrama from Graia there, and essentially laid waste to the planet. They were able to beat them into submission. Once they were submitted, they left the elements from that other Legio there, essentially to keep them in line. Because of all that happened, it really put them at odds with one another. So when the heresy did break out, unsurprising, but they had decided, Laniaskara decided to side with Horus through discussions they had had previously because, in a lot of way, of what had happened to them, what the Imperium had done to them. So they quite readily turned traitor with all of that. They end up taking their Titans to walk upon Graia, and they were essentially just beaten back near the end. So let's take a look at these guys, and I know nothing of what they do. So let's see what they do. So Legio trait, they got 2 of them. First one is direct measures. Once per round, a Legio Laniaskara Titan can declare power to locomotors without needing to push its reactor. Well, that's useful. I mean, as Dan loves to tout that this is a book that would have movement shenanigans and your stratagem that you like to be able to get the extra movement out of. Being able to get up faster is nice. It's only a single one, not so great, but still good. Let's see what their other trait is. So bullish, because we'll put the 2 traits together. Making attacks as part of a charge order, a Legio Laniaskara Titan may make a smash attack and 1 other attack with a weapon with the melee trait. The smash attack does not benefit from additional dice from the charge order. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but in that case, assuming you were charging with a melee weapon, I'm not entirely sure why you would if you didn't. But does that just mean, for all intents and purposes, because normally if you have a melee weapon and you do a charge order, you get to attack with it. This just also lets you attack with a smash attack. Is that the only addition it does? That's how I read it.
Well, yeah, but you get more attack.
True.
You get both, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Do wholesale damage with your chain fist and then follow it off the headbutt. If you bring a power fist, though, you might be struggling as you knock things out of range and or arc for that smash attack.
Yeah. You could smash first.
Oh, true. You could smash first. I don't know why I was thinking you had to do the smash as a follow-up.
Yeah, there's nothing in here that says you'd have to do it one way or the other. Yeah, so I would just do the smash first. But
so kick him in the groin and then punch him in the face. I like it.
Yeah. Together, they work well together. They have 2 Legio traits, but at least they work well together. You get to one Titan, maybe your main melee focused Titan, gets to, push with no consequence, and when it actually does that charge, it gets a little bit something extra.
I like it. It I wouldn't say it's like overpowered or anything, but it is a powerful ability because you charge. Okay, let me give you an example. I charge all the time with usually my Reavers, right? After a warp displacement, right? But when I hit them and I get, let's say 3 extra attacks with the Power Fist, it might not kill a Reaver, right? It might take them to the brink of destruction. It might take them to like their last pip or their last 2 pips. But that charge attack doesn't kill the Reaver, meaning if that Reaver can still move, or if that Reaver can back up, or so on and so forth, that Reaver's still functioning until I shoot it again. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So adding that smash attack, making that smash attack with 1 other attack with a weapon with the melee trait. Yeah, so adding the smash attack essentially.
Yes.
Is good because that's that extra 1 to 3 attacks into something that you're already hitting with a fucking power fist. Like, okay, so perfect example. I charged into a Warhound, right, with my Reaver, and it was a full 9-inch charge, so I got +3 attack. The Power Fist already has, I believe, 2 attacks. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong.
Power Fist gets 2
attacks.
Higher strength. Chain Fist gets 3 and a lower strength.
So 5 attacks. I hit with 3 of them, which is average, right? I didn't roll any 1s, thankfully, and I knocked the Warhound to the final pip, right? But he was still functioning on the body. And even worse so, I knocked him backwards. Now, mind you, the Void Shield was already blown out because that's what the crit does to the body. But if I didn't hit him enough, let's say I just crit enough like the first crit, which is not the Void Shield blowout, that extra D3 could have absolutely destroyed that Warhound. So it's to me, it's actually a nice thing if you're playing that kind of aggressive force. Anyway, that's just me.
It helps get you potentially that guaranteed kill, or because we're talking about in terms of Power Fist, if you have the Chain Fist instead, 1, you don't have a concern of actually shoving them away, and if you do that, you could start off with your weapon that's rending, and then I follow that up with, the smash afterwards. Because otherwise, if you are running the Power Fist, I think you do have to smash first because you might shove them out of the way. Although
Exactly.
the smash,
Absolutely.
if you're using on a model that you might want to, a big enough model, the smash should be able to get something down on them. That could be what starts it off.
Stupid question.
Yeah.
Does trying to think here.
Okay.
What is melee on a iconoclast?
Everything.
Is it all even the okay, so even with the iconoclast, you will tear up a warlord if you charge the damn thing. But if you don't want it activating in the shooting phase, that extra smash is 1000% going to destroy it.
Yeah. The only thing not melee on
Actually, think about
Iconoclast.
the Iconoclast.
Yeah. The only thing not melee on it is its carapace weapon.
And the pit guns. But yeah.
Yeah.
All the big arms are melee, at least in part.
Sure. And let's face it, they hit like a truck. A lot of them absolutely on that. But there's always a chance that you roll the 1 on your damage when you're trying to get through them. Or if you're not doing enough crits or you hit something big enough that you might still just be that 1 short. And if they're not dead, they're still going to hurt you. Especially on that. The smash attack on that boy is going to crush you.
Yeah.
Now, it's probably really funny. I believe there's an ancillary reactor you could take for your War Master class Titans. That lets them do a smash attack in addition to any other attacks. Like during the movement, not necessarily even at the end of it. So you could do 3 attacks, right? 2 smashes and a regular punch with something. I'm not sure. I don't have my card with me to check. I think that's a thing.
Can look it up on, what is it, Titan Terminal? Which one do I have? One of these will actually end up saying it. That's usually when we're looking up stuff like that, that's what I end up doing. That's not Iconoclast, though. I'll usually look it up on that because that's usually the easiest way to find it. So we'll just name it something dumb. We'll add a unit. Let's add an Iconoclast. There we go. When did that come in? But I think you're right. I think they do have something like that. For whatever reason. Oh, there it is. Add. It wasn't going in. But Dan, do you know that or not? Or you don't know because he doesn't shoot?
I don't know. I have no idea on that one.
Dan has the punchy one. I think it came in. Sorry, the shooty one.
Here we go.
It came in the punchy box.
Kinetic transducers.
Yeah, no, I only have the shooting one.
If a Titan with this upgrade, so this is one of its ancillary reactors. If a Titan with this upgrade moves 5 or more during the movement phase, add 1 to the strength of all weapons with the melee traits equipped with for the remainder of the phase. In addition, a Titan with this upgrade may make a smash attack when moving as part of a charge order, in addition to any other attacks it makes. So they get the Laniaskara rule, essentially, if you take that particular ancillary reactor. So would you get both then? I
would say yes.
Yeah, because the smash attack does not benefit from the additional dice from the charge order. I would say, yeah, if someone wants to be nitpicky enough, they could probably make an argument against it. But to me, I don't see why you wouldn't, or why they would be intending you not to have it. So no, I would say yeah. I think you get both.
Ooh, I agree.
Well, that's gnarly.
You're not moving very fast, so they got to get close. But you're killing whatever you get to.
Yeah, and plus, if you multi-charge, normally I think you would have to put it all into one, just because you pick a target and then you attack weapon by weapon. Yeah. You can't be on charge and split fire.
Yes.
So I think Bullish would have to go all in on one, but with that reactor, I think you could then split one of them off.
I agree because let me how was it worded? Let me pull it back. Give me 1 second. Okay. In addition, a Titan with this upgrade may make a smash attack when moving as part of a charge order. In addition to any attacks it makes.
Okay,
it's
now
part of the order. The order targets, yes?
Maybe not then. Maybe not. Because I was picturing it as like you're passing by and doing a smash attack as you go, but now I'm not sure.
Does anyone have the rulebook close to them? If not, I can just stand up and go.
I don't have the rulebook anywhere near me.
Mine is 3 states away. I think I'm winning I don't have my rulebook handy.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I'll talk amongst yourselves for a moment. Let me go find out.
Oh my god! So that Dave guy.
Fuck that dude.
Does he even have a rulebook handy? He knows we're in
Unbelievable.
Titanicus tonight. Oh my god.
Unfucking believable.
We didn't even.
We are just
so,
the most
just so everyone knows, we had no
unprofessional
idea what we were talking about until there was like 10 minutes before we started recording.
Oh,
So-
since we're taking a
So
break,
unprofessional.
actually covering maniples, I forgot 3 of the armies at the event. We had
Okay.
Corn Demons, or the Crimson Fury, if you want to go by the proper name.
Yeah, I was going
We
to say
had
that.
Creeping Scourge, which it's almost
Nurgle.
like Nurgle.
It's Nurgle.
I can't believe it's not Nurgle.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
Nurgle, guys.
last but not least, I can't believe I forgot to mention these guys. We had a Custodes player. Who would have guessed?
Unbelievable. Oh, fucking. I heard he's a Chad. I heard he's an absolute Chad.
No. See, to be one,
Mm.
you. I don't think Chad is the word you use when you bring your army, and then when you bring a loner army, and you put a counter to that loner army in the one you're going to play.
Fun fact: doesn't counter shit because they
Um,
toss. So just so you know. By the way, Dave.
Yeah.
Okay, they hit me on 6s. They toss 60 attacks on the charge. They still kill a Custodes squad.
Okay.
They still massacre. It doesn't change
all
shit.
the other factions don't have that, and you brought both of the ones. So it's the same way when we did Epic.
Better.
You're like, does any of your stuff hit flyers? No, I'm gonna bring this flying unit. No. Okay, so I have the rule here. Charge does not word that in any way. Charge just says and now they might have. I know they FAQ'd a little bit of this, but the main parts of it's still here. In the movement phase, a unit acting under charge order can only move once for an arc. All of that. Once it finishes moving, it can immediately make a smash or an attack with a weapon that has a melee trait. And essentially it says, based on the number of dice and how far you move and everything like that. It doesn't mention targeting at all.
So I want to say the Legio trait has to attack the same thing.
Yes.
Because they make a smash attack and run another attack when they attack.
I would say because it's like the weird split fire rule.
Yeah.
I would agree. Okay, yeah.
That'll be an interesting one for a community discussion.
Yeah, if anyone.
Okay, now that we've been sufficiently sidetracked.
Yeah, well. So what I will say, because we do get comments.
Question. I'm not even.
No, we do get comments on the YouTube. So if anyone listening has a thought one way or the other about this, and I'll probably put this in the notes underneath on the YouTube about that. They definitely haven't answered that because nothing like that's ever been in the FAQ because they didn't even FAQ this book at all. But I'm curious, what's the general consensus on those sorts of things? Charge doesn't say it doesn't technically give a target. Shooting mentions targeting. So can I charge and hit multiple things? Do I have to hit one? If I'm getting this extra because of the iconoclast, can I choose what to go at? I'm curious to see what other people come with, or if they've thought about this, or maybe no one has this Legio, so it's never mattered. Someone does. I know
I've seen it done up at least once, and it was stunning.
Yeah. Oh no, the scheme is nice. The scheme is very, very nice.
It's like that Caribbean blue mixed with like some really nice reds, and those really cool like arrow patterns. It's sick. I like it.
Let's take a look at their single stratagem. It's a heedless charge. It's 1 point. This strategy can be purchased by any Legio Laniaskara player. Play the stratagem at the start of any strategy phase. For the remainder of the phase, any of your friendly Legio Laniaskara Titans can be issued a charge order without needing to make a command check. Woo.
This plays nicely into their other buffs.
Yeah.
Because I know what they like. I think they like smashing things. I'm not sure, but I think they like to charge.
I mean, the first Legio trait, that direct measures, only helps one of them do essentially the free power to locomotors. But the bullish doesn't care, and heedless charge, it's any of them. So if you have more than one, you could actually charge multiple in, and at least one of them doesn't have to worry about pushing its machine spirit to go. Wow, I like that. They're doing close combat better than Volpa in some ways. We get the +1, but a +1's not as useful when your melee weapons are all like +1s, +2s. Good.
Yeah.
It's good for like the Warlord, but the other one's not quite as good. Like a Reaver, it's not so good because Reaver's going to be hitting on 2s either way.
Yeah. Yeah. This is nice so far. I'm really liking this.
All right.
I'll have to jump ship, but I do like this.
Agreed. Yeah, I
Okay.
wouldn't jump ship. I have this, but
Yeah.
I like the idea of using stuff I have and trying out other Legios. And like I would never. I have no anticipation of getting enough Titans to build
The
another
the
Legio.
way I look at it, I always like I hate to tier it, but it's not. I wouldn't put in shit down. I put like this is a good Legio if you choose it.
Yeah, no, this is all. If you like melee and you're willing to build out for it a bit, I think you could get away with one Titan, one good Titan for it. But in reality, you probably not necessarily two. I mean, I don't think you want to run pure melee on them, but at least like if you're running, say, two Reavers, a melee option on each of those Reavers,
Yeah,
a shorter range, maybe
you do
stronger
like
strength weapon, and rush them up.
even like warlords. Even like I'm thinking like a Gatling blaster, heavy bolter on the top, power fist warlord, and you just go ham. Gatling
Yeah.
blaster, you carve in with the power fist, smash attack. He stays there. Maybe target the fucking legs, immobilize him, and then when you activate Gatling, you don't have to just Gatling blaster him.
Yeah,
I like it. I
that's
like it.
good. All right. They got one bit of word gear here. Mordentized ceramite. I don't know what that is, but okay. Any Legio Laniaskara Titan may be upgraded with this ceramite for 10 points. You subtract 1 from the result of armor rolls made for an attack by a weapon with the maximal fire trait against the Titan with this upgrade. This negative modifier is applied even if the attacking unit is not using the maximal fire trait to increase its weapon strength. So as long as the weapon has the maximal fire trait, -1 to the strength of its weapon.
I like that a lot.
And only 10 points. That's
really cheap. Yeah, that's
So,
super cheap.
What would that be? That would be the plasma weapons naturally.
yeah.
And I think one of the arms on the Iconoclast is
Yeah, one of
maximum
its arms I'm
fire.
pretty sure is.
I think like the Melta arm,
Uh
because it's like for like a little bit of risk, you could have every single damage buff in the game on one attack.
oddly enough, no. Maximal fire,
No?
no. None of its weapon does it. The Grav Imploder has like every other rule, whether it's in short
Oh,
or
okay.
long range, this rule change. But yeah, none of it actually has maximal fire.
Okay. So then it's just plasmas and things upgraded with the experimental weapon.
But I mean,
But still, that's nice.
That's it.
it's the things
I'm
that hurt you
liking
the
this
most.
Legion. I'm really liking this Legion, to be quite honest. It's just
Yeah.
a overall cool Legion.
Especially for how cheap it is. For 10 points, you put that on the melee model or two that you're really rushing up. Now they're potentially a good bit more survivable. And it might push your opponent, to want to use the stronger strength on their maximal, because otherwise they're at a -1 anyway. Now they have chances of overheating and hurting themselves. I like that. I think that's actually a really useful piece of war gear for cheap. It won't help every game, but the games it helps, it's going to do a lot for you. All right. Let's see if any of these personal traits aren't garbage. First one, cruel. Some of them are garbage.
What a
Let's
lead-in.
face it.
No, I love the let's be like, hey, this is all cool. Let's see how shitty they're
Well, everything so far has been like, oh, if you're playing this, no, it's putting you into a build. It's definitely tailoring your army, maybe a little stronger than some other Legios. Some Legios really, you can do whatever you want because these rules are just kind of nice and they work. These rules are, if you're not building to get into close combat, none of this is going to help you, won't do you any good. So let's see if their personal traits actually help them or not. Okay, the first one. When making attacks against a unit with a scale of 5 or lower, increase the strength of any hit by 2. I don't know if you need that.
Knights go squish.
Yeah, squishy.
But here's the thing, right? It's any attacks, not just melee.
Yeah, it's any.
So, like I keep saying, if you're a bad person, well, not a bad person, but if you like to play really nasty lists, and you bring knights with the banner of -strength,
very
this
true.
counters that very effectively.
Yes.
If you have an uppity knight player, you bring Laniaskara. You bring the Impalers. I'll just call them the Impalers. You bring the Impalers out. I'm like, okay, round 1, you're playing me, and we'll see how long you keep this up.
Yeah.
Keyword, not long.
No. Since you're picking your warlord trait, if you happen to go against a knight army, it's an option. especially if you have maybe some of your other weapons are lighter weapons. I don't know. It's okay.
Yeah, because I mean, it could bring up a bolter to actually be worth something. Because strength 6 bolter, all of a sudden, you're actually doing direct hits on a 3 instead of a 5.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's a nice swing.
So these guys are. So I've read their second one. I like that they feel they can hit whatever they need to. Their second one is Titan Killer. Once per round, the Princeps may reroll all armor rolls of 1 for an attack made against an enemy Titan.
And it's not melee.
Yep.
It's anything.
Yeah, it's anything.
That's
As
amazing.
you were mentioning earlier, it's like, oh no, I mean, a melee attack and
That's
rolled
fucking
all
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's once per round, so
That's
that could be when you
really
did the
good.
charge. You missed 2 of them. You rolled ones because you're doing something to them on anything but essentially for whatever your warlord probably is. All right, there's your one-time reroll to help take it out. That's really
You know
good.
what's funny? I'm not even like thinking that. I'm thinking fucking like, okay, maybe you take, like I said before, like maybe the plasma, power claw, laser blaster warlord, right?
Yeah.
Just for funsies. You know, someone has their shields down. What sucks with the plasma gun, it only gets 4 shots. So if you get roll that one, you can maximal fire all you want. It's not gonna do shit. But re-rolling the ones on that, or a laser blaster, oh my god, yeah, no, I like it.
Yeah.
Basically, once per turn, you could just be like, I have the ordnance trait right now.
Yeah.
Pretty nice.
And it's all. Hold on, really quick. May reroll all armor rolls for one attack made against an enemy Titan. Yeah, and so it's the whole Titan does it. The whole fucking Titan does it. So all the weapons get this.
An attack. An attack
Oh,
made
it's like
against
an
an
attack?
This is one weapon.
Yeah.
and
it's
attack.
one
God,
weapon.
okay.
Yeah.
All right,
It's
I was
one
getting a
weapon.
little too excited.
Now, here's the other exciting part though, reading it. So, obviously you're not, because sometimes like maximal, you got to declare it before you take your shot. You're declaring, this other thing before you do it. Here you can roll it. Oh, I rolled 1-1. That's okay. I'll let it go. This later one, ooh, this was the really bad roll. I really need this one. Okay, I use it because I see what comes up.
Yeah, I think this is reactive, which is really nice.
Absolutely. And they don't always do that. We've seen traits before where you kind of have to cash your chips in before you know what's going to happen. You can see that your attack didn't work, or oh, my other 3 dice were good enough. It's just barely surviving. I'll re-roll this one now rather than saving it for whatever else. I like that. They handle the big, the small. Last one, Heedless Rage. Once per round, the Princeps may make an attack with a disabled weapon with the melee trait. Once they do, the Princeps Titan suffers a single strength 10 hit to the body.
There's the dud.
Yeah.
There's always one.
To be fair, it is nice to have if you have a melee build and you need to make a charge and oh no, they broke my gun. I mean, they broke my fist. But it's fairly niche.
Yeah. And the strength 10 hits to the body can be rough. That's pretty
awesome.
high.
That is your plasma reactor being mad kinds of strength.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no.
It's stronger because it's strength 10 instead of strength 9.
Yeah. You're rolling that. If you don't happen to roll that 1, you're probably taking damage. And if you roll bad enough, you could be taking a critical damage.
Yeah, I think even on a warlord, I always blink on its top bracket on the body.
Oh man, why do you gotta ask these tough questions?
Because I like to make everybody else think.
I mean, I have all this stuff in front of me. The thing I don't have in front of me is all the sheets, but I do have it here. Where's my warlord?
Add warlord Titan to mana pool.
16 plus is a crit.
So yes, you can crit on that.
You can. You're and it's a 14 to 15 to be devastating. So essentially, 50% of the time, it's at least a devastating hit, and you could get a critical, and you're gonna hate yourself if you do. And that's assuming you're not in any plus ranges. Obviously, you could be a few brackets down and be in a plus range and really be guaranteeing a crit. So it feels like I need this to make sure he dies, or I'm about to go out anyway. I'll do it. But I don't like the feel of that, because if you don't get put in a position like that.
Listen, to be fair, with everything we just learned about this Legio, if it has one shitty Princeps trait, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
I mean assuming you're not, if you're going against knights, the cruel makes sense. Go ahead, take it, have fun all day. But their other one, Titan Killer, that is one where, yeah, honestly, if I was running this Legio, I'd probably take that. Over some of the other options out of the core book. That's something I realistically see myself taking and wanting to have. I like these guys. I think these guys are actually maybe a little bit surprising, but actually quite good. And if people aren't looking at the paint scheme, it is very well done. It's sort of this.
Oh no, the paint scheme is okay. So I'm gonna even insult my own Legio. I think this is probably top 3 paint schemes in the book for traders. If you can, well, I mean, obviously you can go wrong a lot with the, but I think that if someone does the teal correctly with the red and then the fucking, I don't even know what pattern are called. You know what? Okay, so I'm not going to try. I'm trying not to go on a tangent, but there's this guy who does Space Marine Primaris, 40K. He does Space Sharks. I forgot what they were called.
Carcharodons.
Yes, and they have their big theme is very I don't want to say Hawaiian. Fucking what's the what are those type of people called? Samoan, very Samoan-like kind of themes, right? Like every Space Marine chapter has that. And so they have like patterns on their armor. So he did all the white patterns on their armor, like like kind of like the tattoos on people's skin. I think that if someone like that can manage to do that on a Titan, oh man, I don't even want to play that dude. I don't want to kill his Titans. I don't want to see them off the table.
Because the red's a nice, it's sort of almost between an orange and a red, which I like. Yeah,
it plays off the blue extremely well.
It does.
Yes. And it's funny because, okay, so when you say red and blue, I instantly think like Christmas. You know what I mean? Or red and green Christmas. But it's not. It's like a scarlet red with like a teal. Is that considered teal? I don't think so.
It's tough to see. Because to me, looking at them, the part where they put their filigree, whatever you might want to call it, is lighter in tone, and that might be what's making it look teal. I think the filigree is a teal. The rest of it's a darker blue, essentially, I believe. Maybe not. When you look at some of the flat parts, it doesn't quite look that, but I think it's part of that brightens it up a little bit.
I like it. It's a good Legion.
They are very cool.
Yeah.
But all right. Well, that moves us on to you say the next one, Dan. What is their name?
Kulisaetai.
Okay. If that's wrong, you heard earlier where Dan's Instagram is. Feel free to message him there and tell him how he's butchering the words of your Legio. Go ahead, though.
This is coming from the early Latin years of my high school, so don't yell at me.
No, yeah, feel free. I give you permission to yell at him.
Well, little side fact, GW does, and I remember talking about this with like my professor, who also played 40K, by the way, which he was awesome. But he called it shitty Latin. It's like someone put Latin in a Google translator and then kind of just went, fuck it, that's what we want.
Yeah.
That's why. So whatever. Point is. So anyway, Legio Kulisaetai, the gatekeepers, which we were laughing before the show. We were talking about the name, the gatekeepers, because of, just not what's going on now, but like just kind of like how people react to the word gatekeeper. Anyway, so these guys, very weird, actually. I was kind of reading their fluff, and it was actually, in my opinion, kind of interesting. So essentially, their Forge World was so large that it actually rivaled Mars itself, which, by the way, is never a good sign when that's how it starts off. It was large. However, they got basically fucked because there was a civil war. And essentially, the civil war was between those people that, are not crazy and people called the Endeavor of Airless Purity, who believe that they should eradicate all biological life on a galactic scale. So basically, the Necrons. Obviously, the Imperium and the Fabricated General did not agree with this. This might shock you. Maybe eradicating all, biological life on a galactic scale is not going to work. So they had a civil war for hundreds of years. And essentially, the Fabricator General sent a Legio Mortis to help them out, which, if alarm bells are going off on why these guys are traitors, there you go. So eventually, because they took such heavy losses, they actually transplanted some Legio Mortis into Legio Calibrax, which is their other name. And basically allowed the gatekeepers to kind of take these younger titans, these younger warriors, and kind of raise them in the ranks. And it's quite funny because when the Fabricator General, became treacherous, they basically sided with Horus because that's who helped them. It's really not that hard of a. It was more interesting about the Civil War and the idea that they wanted to eradicate all biological life in the galaxy. I thought that was pretty cool.
So they're Bender.
I should point out that they did lose. I should point out that they actually lost their homeworld. They lost their Forge World to the Loyalists. I actually haven't seen that yet, but they legit lost their homeworld. So they are a Legio without a homeworld.
Suck at traitors.
Which is interesting. But anyway, yep, that's them. So let's look at the gatekeepers. So it seems like they have their first Legio trait known as Callus. So Legio Kulisaetai Titans never suffer penalties to their command checks and may ignore effects that force them to re-roll successful command checks.
Yay! Command check.
Yeah, okay. So when you fail a command check, it sucks. Whatever. What gives penalties command checks besides getting your princeps knocked in the head?
Certain Legios do.
Yeah, there's entire
One of the ones we
Legio,
did
like
last
Auspex
time
Bafflers.
Yeah. Stratagems?
Maybe.
Let's face it. There's so many stratagems. There's probably one that does.
Yeah. Okay. Is it nice?
No.
Sure. Is it game breaking? No. Is it as horrible as we've seen the other ones? Still no. We've seen some pretty bad ones.
At least it's not a debuff, right?
Yeah, it's like
in case no one's caught on yet in all these episodes on Titanicus.
We're not bad.
Super impressed with orders. I mean, they're very lovely when you get them off, but they usually don't make it or break it until turn 5, and at that point, you're usually on a trajectory one way or the other anyway.
Modifiers. I don't know. Listen. Is it the worst one we've seen? No. Is it the best one we've seen? Absolutely not. But it's not even in the middle ground. It's kind of like less than. I give it like a 40.
Yeah. Well, the other, I want to say it was maybe 2 or 3 of these ago, maybe 2 of them ago. We had some comments on the YouTube from someone who's talking about, pretty sure that's where it was. Talking about, orders and, sort of the use. Actually, no, it might have been on Reddit. But discussing how some of this order stuff can be very strong. And I think we all just believe orders are nice to have, and there's spots when you need them. And there's spots where if you deny me my orders, I'm going to be very, very unhappy. But the rest of the time, you're probably not doing anything for it. It's not helping. Oh, yeah. It was when we did the Volp episode, because one of theirs relates to enemy orders. And we were all very lackluster on it. And they were talking about how, here's the sort of thing it does and how it can be good. And
so, that's what I'm saying. It's not. So it's not reactionary, nor is it defensive. It's great. It's okay. It's like the relic I take for Custodes. It's excellent when it works.
Yeah.
But 90% of the time, it's not going to do anything.
There's other more common or useful things to do.
Exactly. Like I said, it's not bad. I'm not dissing it.
But
am I going to look for this Legio to do it? No.
It's not exciting. If you're reading through these rules and you're looking at paint schemes and trying to figure out who you want to play, that trait is not the thing that's going to make you say, "Oh man, yeah, I want to play these guys because that sounds cool."
The worst part is you can only buy it once. Like if you take it 2 or 3 times, then at least you could be like, okay, I'm gonna kite them for a couple turns. Have some extra range on the Mega Bolters, wrap with the +1. Maybe get some more Melta range for the D10, but it's just not exciting.
Right, that was there,
and it's eating up your points. Your command points, not command points. God, Not command points. Those are dreadful strategy points.
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's go to the next one. I think that was more meh. So, specific stratagem. Oh, it's 1 point. Steadfast Bastion. This
Oh,
stratagem
whoops.
can.
I'm
Yeah, I
sorry.
was gonna
I
say, I'm
read
like, wait a
ahead,
minute,
and I
that has no.
totally-
Well, it does have a cost, has an opportunity cost because that is the main rule of your Legio. Because I stepped away for a second, I thought maybe I missed something.
No, I,
Oh
I,
no,
I,
no,
I,
no!
like,
I was just
I
going
went
to
to
the.
check
I
a
was going to
message,
the.
and I came back like, oh, we probably moved on at this point to
Nope.
Steadfast Bastion.
No.
Yeah, I did.
No,
What?
you just did.
So,
Steve was just
spoilers
talking
on
about
my
the cost of
thoughts?
something that costs nothing.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
Yeah.
To me, it's meh. Like there's no other
No,
argument
agreed.
to it.
Yeah, we talked about it
Yeah.
for longer than he thought we would, so he was a little bit behind.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was
Yeah.
like,
I was
my
like, all
mind
right, cool.
wandered at that point. So Steadfast Bastion. The stratagem can be purchased by any Legio, Kulisaetai player. Play the strategy during any shooting phase. Okay. Add 6 inches to short range, but not the long range characteristics of all weapons without the melee trait carried by Legio Kulisaetai Titans during the combat phase, so long as it has not moved, voluntary or involuntary, already this round.
I was on board until they said, assuming it hadn't moved.
The involuntary, yeah. So I liked it. I actually liked it literally until it mentioned, yeah.
Not moving actually killed it. I totally missed
Yeah,
that too.
it's
When
not
I
even the
skipped
voluntary.
ahead in the
Like if
conversation,
it was just voluntary, I wouldn't mind because it's voluntary. Who gives a shit? It was the involuntary that actually killed it for me, in my opinion. I think that's what murdered it for me. Believe it or not.
For me, it's the voluntary. I mean, the involuntary is a harm, of course. The voluntary part to me kills it a little bit because you're talking about the short range of your weapon. Okay, so you're probably figuring this to be a weapon where short range maybe gives you the +1 or doesn't at least get you a -1, but you're not able to move. Adding 6 inches is the average amount the Titan's going to move. I mean, if you're talking about a warlord, that's a pushed amount. And Iconoclast, I don't off the top of my head know how fast they are. But you're talking about what you might move anyway. So therefore, instead of moving, I'll get the range I would have gained by moving. Although on a lot of my Titans, I could move more than 6. If it's a Reaver or a Warhound, I could go further than that. So I'm it almost feels like this is useful if you're, I don't know, if you're taking what, maybe first
I don't
first
even see a use
fire
for it.
instead of moving.
Sorry, no.
Echoes of the Warp. If you have a Mega Bolter or a Melta, it's kind of cool because it extends that sweet spot. A Warlord Titan likes his
Oh, you
Mega
could
Bolters.
wait. So yeah, you could extend it to what? 14 inches? Okay.
16 because it's 10 short on the
No,
bolter.
Vulcan Megaloths are 8 short, aren't they?
No, I thought it was 10.
No, it's 8. I think
I
on
just remember
Warhound?
that Warlords didn't get the short range unless they were near another Warlord.
No.
Oh, maybe it is 8.
I kind of, yeah, that's what I think I know.
Oh, yeah, because it's 816, duh.
Wait,
Yes, yeah.
for
The,
what? I'm sorry.
So a Vulcan Mega Bolter.
The bolter array like on a warlord?
Yeah.
Yeah.
10-20.
Oh, it is
Okay,
10.
that's 10-20.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
war-
On
but
that
the-
it's 10 and 20.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
also
so
pretty
the
nice.
Warhound
It
So,
means the
is 8
Warlord
and
could
20.
use the +1 if it's now in
Yeah.
a nice little box.
actually, so I'm starting to turn around a little bit.
That's still hot
I think
garbage.
one
But
thing
you
that,
don't
no,
move.
wait, no, hold on,
But you
hear me out,
can't
hear me
move,
out.
which takes out so much.
Oh yeah, you
ability,
can't move.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting about it. You literally can't move. So what the fuck is the point? Yeah, no.
including with your strat because that's moving.
Yep.
Oh god, yeah, no, I'm sorry. Sorry.
It's neat. It's not a battle plan. If it didn't have the movement restriction, and if you could take it multiple times, I think you could build a plan with it to some extent. Like this, it's rough.
I think it's rough. Yeah.
I looked it up because I couldn't remember the War Masters and all move 6 if you push them. So you could get as far as you want if you just walked. You know, maybe if you were disabled, maybe if they had hit you in the legs so you can't move. But I'm not spending a point on something that maybe occurs if I get my Titan crippled in the right way. So no, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Not for the tightest resource of the game.
It's literally just that last part. It's
Yeah.
it's that's the sad part. It's not even like the first part is great. It's just it's like they hampered it so damn much in the second part.
Do you think they thought it was too much for one point if it wasn't? I don't think it would be.
No.
Even if you're allowed to
Honestly,
move, I don't think
okay,
it would.
a treat.
So
This should have just been a treat.
Yeah.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, if you
There we
don't
go.
move, you
I
get
agree.
this because now,
Yes,
because
I
again,
agree.
first fires
Now
and
it gives
stuff like that. There's
gameplay
times where I won't
choices,
move.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
And you know what? With their other trait they have, they easily could have got this as the trait as well, and then feel
And been
on par with
perfectly
some
on
of these
par.
Legios that get a little extra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Just
like
like Tritonis was like a win, another win. This has been dud.
not
Laniaskara.
Tritonis.
Should be three.
Laniaskara. We have
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
that's right.
Sorry,
All the names are crazy.
Impalers. I was thinking impaling. Tridents impale things. Yeah. Oof.
Yeah, it's just It's yeah. I feel bad because it's like I don't want to be the Debbie Downer, but it's just
If you're playing these guys, you must really love them. That's my take
let
so
me check their
far.
paint scheme. Hold on. Yeah, no.
I haven't looked at their. Let me take.
Yeah, that's good.
Classy scheme.
It's class. So I
It's
see
not
it in the
exciting, but it's classy.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe other people feel differently about this. You guys could tell me if you do. I'm not a really big
I'm
fan.
not seeing something. Maybe I'm not seeing something.
No,
You know what I
saying
mean?
it. I'm not a big fan of the ones that cut right down the middle in the paint scheme, where like one side's one and the other. I don't mind high to low, but I don't like the sort of just cut it straight down the middle look. I'm not big on that.
Let's go to the next Legio. Maybe they got like the most amazing fucking war gear in the world. Let's see. Hold on. So, Legio stratagem number 2, method. Oh god, I can't say the
Methodical.
line.
Methodical. That's not a tough word.
Yeah.
Good.
This this stratagem can be purchased by any Legio Kulisaetai player. Play this stratagem in the strategy phase of the first round. Choose a scale. Okay. All friendly Legio Kulisaetai Titans with the same scale as the chosen scale may immediately make a move, although no Titan may declare power. Oh, okay. Although no Titan may declare power to stabilizers or power to locomotors. After the effects of the stratagem have been resolved, the opposing player becomes the first player. Titans that move in this way may not be activated in the strategy phase of the first round.
So it's a weaker but cheaper Death March.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, Death March, how many Titans can you move? Is it all of them?
It's every last one of them, but it costs 3.
3. This costs 2.
But you have to focus in on a scale, which means a single class of Titan, except for the eventual Porker and Warhounds. It's if you like Death March, you'll like this.
Yeah, listen, it's meh again for me. I'm sorry. Like I'm not trying to be an asshole. It sucks because I sound so mean.
You don't have to try to be one.
I mean, you could do this, and then you go on first fire, and you pop your strap for 6 inches of range.
You can't give them orders.
It almost makes sense, but then that's all your resources.
Steve, you can't give orders. You can't give them. You can't activate them in the strategy phase.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the very last line of it.
Never mind.
Is that what it would stop? Is essentially saying you can't give them orders? Yeah. Is that activating
strategy phase? Orders and strategy.
No orders.
Yeah. What's the fucking point?
And you can't push or do extra turns, so you're getting like 4 to 6 inches of move unless you're a Warhound. You're getting,
I'm still trying
like
to find the fucking. I'm still trying to find the good here. I
missed that last sentence. This is a way worse Death March for March.
I'd rather spend 3 strategy points at this point.
They must really hate the guy who made this.
Yeah, I don't know what I don't get it. Okay, maybe hold on. Wait. Okay. The war gear's got to be great. Hold on.
Your optimism,
gambler's fallacy,
is delightful. It's
oh my god.
Go ahead.
Any Legio Kulisaetai Titan armed with either Apocalypse missile launchers or an Apocalypse missile launcher May be equipped with accelerated autolators for 20 points. Okay. So long as the Titan does not already have an upgrade affecting that weapon. Okay, so you can't double up with like giving it like maximal fire or some shit.
Yeah.
Each weapon a Titan is armed must be upgraded separate. Okay, so it has.
Yeah,
Wait,
that's
what?
common. You can't spend
Oh,
20
okay,
points
okay,
for
okay, okay.
all of your
Funny
APOC
enough,
missile launchers.
Apocalypse missile arrays are not on this list, so your
Yeah.
War Masters cannot have this.
Yes,
Okay,
that's what I was going to
continues.
say. Okay, that's why I was. Okay. After resolving an attack made by this weapon with this upgrade, the Titan may immediately make a second attack with this weapon against the same target. Whoa! Applying a -1 modifier to all hit rolls for that attack. After resolving the second attack, oh fucking god damn it!
Never get excited till you
Jesus
finish reading sentences. Always read full
fucking
sentences.
Christ! After resolving the second attack, the weapon is disabled, and the upgrade has no further effect for the remainder of the battle, even if the weapon is subsequently repaired. What?
Subsequently.
They were so close.
What the fuck is? What is going on?
They flew
They
too
were
close to the
so
sun and their
close.
waxes melted.
GW, like we know. Did you hate this dude? Like what? Who fucking made Legio Kulisaetai?
What I will say, if they didn't add the disabled part, even if it was only once a game, I mean, 20 points, that's maybe a little much, but even like once a game, that might be okay because, hey, I'm going to use that on my warlord that has it because I need to take your shields down. And if I'm getting 2 volleys of it, yeah, if I'm targeting the right thing, oh, your shields are down. Hey, now all of our weapons are doing
Technically
good.
3 because the first fire.
True, yeah, you could fire them 3 times.
At
Yeah,
least missiles are easy to fix.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like,
Why?
But then
Why?
if you're disabling it now, I also do have to fix it. Now I have to spend it for something like now. There's always talking 40K of the play testing and who play tests and you know who some of the play testers are because they'll scream from the rooftops that they're play testers. And I have no doubt that they play test 40K. I don't know if they necessarily listen to them and all of that. And there's probably all kinds of stuff behind the scenes. When I look at this, my question is, okay, how much or in what ways do they play test this game? Because that feels like essentially a nerfing because it was too good. Like if you don't disable it, it's too good. Or if it was more than once a game, maybe more than once a game. But even for 20 points.
yeah. So here's my issue with it, right? Yeah. I love game design where you take an option and it has an opportunity cost or like a direct cost for taking that option, right? Like the order systems in Titanicus, because you get to gain the cool thing at the cost of other things. And I think that's good game design. You have to actually make a choice about it, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, this Legio really embodies the idea of, well, I'm going to have you make a choice and you're not going to like the options. Oh, God. The problem is other Legios don't cost as much in respect to their benefit. This one's all you could give up something to get a little bump. And it doesn't fit in with everything else. It just gets stuff. Like, I subtract 1 strength from all, what's it called? I'm blanking on the nerd tip. Maximal fire weapons.
Yeah.
It's not maximal fire. This is, hey, you can shoot at the cost of potentially never shooting again.
It feels
this is
like,
at least
go ahead.
Reasonable? This is reasonable at least? Like I consider dropping 20 points if I had 20 spare points.
But
here's
I would
probably pick up the Bastion shielding first.
Yeah.
And you get 2 sets of Bastion shielding for the same price.
It feels like I said, like they thought this was the strongest, coolest thing ever. Because to me, 20 points, that's an expensive upgrade. I only ever get to use it once. That's expensive. And it will disable my weapon, meaning I have to spend a fixed resource on it later. That's expensive. And I'm going to hit it -1. That's it. There's so many negatives to it. It feels like if you're going to put that many negatives on an APOC launcher, mind you, and let's face it, you're not, with all those negatives, you're not putting it on like, a Reaver one or anything like that, something that has 5. You're putting this on the Warlord because you're going to need to get at least 10 shots out of this to not feel like you've wasted your points. With all the negatives, I don't think it needs that. They could keep it with all the same, make it 10 points. I think you could have made it 10 points and not disable it and it'd still be fine. I don't think it would have been crazy.
100% agree. Or at least make the Reaver one 10 points and the Warlord 21, because 20 for the Reaver one is just absurd. That's 3 times the cost of the base weapon system.
Yeah. It means
Sorry,
you're
it
never taking
triples
it
the
on
cost. It is
I'm not
twice.
understanding this. So that's what? That's a trait, 2 stratagems in War Gear where we're just like, this sucks. This sucks big time.
Unfortunately, yeah. Unless I mean,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
If
like,
you love
I
these
dare
guys,
say
the
go at
personal
it.
traits make up for it, right?
And fun fact is, I kind of been keeping track a little bit. I dare say this is the worst Legion we reviewed.
I agree.
I can't think of a shittier Legion.
Yeah.
We have the personal traits still. Maybe we'll find some redemption.
Personal trait number 1.
You know, the personal
Destroy a
traits.
Titan. Let's see the personal traits. God. Okay, the first one, Ancient of Death. When a Princeps Titan must roll on the reactor overload table, only ever roll a d6, even if the reactor status is marked in the red hole. No.
Okay.
Well,
No.
okay.
If
No,
you're
calm
on
down.
Reddit, keep
Some
you in the
people,
game.
yeah, some people don't want their Titans to blow up, Dan.
Oh, no, reactor. Oh, no, reactor overload. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm thinking already catastrophic damage. Never mind.
No.
Continue.
Oh, no.
That would be the exact opposite of maybe what you want.
I'm already like my Titan's dead. All right, never mind. Continue. Oh no, I like this. Okay, this is
It's
cool.
okay. It's playable.
It's okay.
Especially if you like Warhounds. That's playable. That's a cool little.
Especially if you run Titans like I do.
That is true. But remember, it's only your Princeps Titan as well, so that's probably going to be a bigger boy.
I noticed this as I was talking. By the way, like last time we talked about the way I run my Legio. I do the same shit in BattleTech.
You do the
I'll
same
get
shit
into
everywhere.
like a good position. I get into a good position, and then I will try to not alpha strike, but I'll definitely try to like I play like old White Scars. Like I'll get into a good position and go for that killing blow.
You run your paladins in D&D that way. Just rush up, see what happens, get people killed by bears. like
No,
that's just how you roll your life.
First of all, I did not get that person killed by a bear. He got himself killed by a bear. Okay,
because he listened to you.
It sounds like it's happened before.
No, wait. Okay, hold on. A little break for a second. My paladin. All right, I rolled the personality trait of get the job done. Right, like he's a dwarf, so he gets the job done. So we were trying to find a fucking little dragon lair and shit. Well, to get the job done, but like do it well. You know what I mean? Like do it in a good way. Don't like kill people to get the job done.
Like with bears.
No. So this fucking tribesman, is near us, and we're trying to ask him a question, and this dude starts flipping out for no damn reason. So I'm like, no, and I'm holding him, and then like he gets super freaked out. I wanted to smack him around a little bit to tell him to calm down, and the party didn't let me, and he ran away, and then we found his body mauled by bears later.
So
that was just an inadvertent death, not caused.
So for all listeners out there, what you just heard was revisionist history. That's what you just heard right there. Okay, so what's the second Princeps trait? Is it any better? That one's okay. It's not garbage.
Infamous Warlord. Enemy units within 8 inches of the Princeps Titan subtract 1 from command checks they make. No.
It goes well with their Legio
defense
trait.
Against this, the gatekeepers, because they get to ignore penalties to their command checks.
But these guys are the gatekeepers.
The mirror match.
Oh man.
man.
Wait a minute.
Oh my god.
I maybe found one use. Is Corrupted Titan's command checks or command trait that gets debuffed? It's the check, right? Please say it's the check.
Yes, a check.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that won't matter here because this puts your enemy on a -1.
I don't know, but like for the Legio trait, that's a use for it. I found the redeeming quality. Yay.
No.
Yeah.
And then the last one, the Princeps Titan ignores the MIU feedback and oh god no. And Princeps wounded damage. Okay, so I'm gonna just say it right now.
I said last time, no one goes for the head.
I know I'm the personality golden retriever of the podcast. I fucking hate this Legion. I'm sorry. I just wasted like 20 minutes on a Legion. I should have cut this to like the beginning of the fucking podcast when we start reviewing this damn Legion. If you're listening to this now, this is you're a podcast person, Daniel. For the next 20 minutes, we will be talking about a Legion that is fucking useless. Fuck. God damn, this is such a bad Legion. Oh my god. Okay. Hey, I mean, listen, you guys want to add something to this, but that was utter shite.
No, I agree.
I mean,
I do.
Red, gold, and cream is a nice combo.
No, it's not. It's not. It fucking the sister Titan does it. The Lady Titans do it better.
The combo of colors is nice. I just don't like the division. Straight down the middle, I'm not a huge fan of, but that's me personally. The Legio.
That's fair.
They have all their things feel like it could be good, but they do something against it. Their war gear could be good, but here's the problem. Their 2-point stratagem, it could be, but here's the issue. The steadfast battalion, but here's the issue. Everything has a drawback.
To get people to force themselves to love it.
Yes. And I stepped away for a moment when you were doing the fluff part because I had to go get something real quick. Was there fluff? I only caught the tail end of it. Was their fluff so cool and awesome that
that's their fluff was actually the most basic normal shit. It was basic bitch girl goes to Starbucks, finds that the Starbucks has a civil war in it, and then they make friends with Legio Mortis.
Okay, how old?
That's it.
Now, because I am actually, if I probably think about it, not quite as new, but when you think of Titanicus, something like that, okay, they had it in the past, so this is the 2018 version, all back and all. Is this an old Legio? Could I go back in a book from 20 years ago and find these guys?
Give me 5 seconds.
I'm curious how new these guys are.
This is a wiki thing because now I'm actually curious. What the fuck? Because they even lost. Here's the fun. They lost their homeworld. They lost their Forge world, the size of fucking Marge.
Oh no! A tragic backstory. There's none of those. Not even
Legio Kulisaetai. Let me see here.
You know what? That's a great reflection in the rules. They had really cool stuff, and then they don't.
And then they lost their Forge world, and they can't have any good rules anymore.
They lost their Forge world, and now their missiles are very expensive and hard to replace. They used to have cool traits, but now they just kind of don't.
Okay.
Except they never had the cool traits to begin with.
Okay, so you want to hear something really sad and really funny? In the fluff, they mention more all the other legions than this one. Okay. I've seen mentions of Legio Ateris, Legio Firebrand, or the Firebrands, Legio Mortis, and how they're all helping this one legion or fighting against this legion. But nothing is this legion is cool. Oh man, I feel bad. This is just.
If you follow these guys, my heart goes out to you. Because
I'm sorry. I don't mean to shit on your legion, guys. I really don't.
Sending thoughts, prayers, and the technovirus.
I don't want to shit on some dude's legion if he really likes him, but God.
Let's face it. If you really like it, it doesn't matter what we think of it. You're gonna love it, and that's
exactly.
So I was looking up sources on the fandom wiki for all of this, just to see was it ever mentioned earlier. So sources were Crucible of Retribution, which is one of the newer books, the Horus Heresy, Adeptus Titanicus, Horus Heresy, the rule book, and Horus Heresy book 6. So they were mentioned in book 6. So that's probably
book 6 was
Age of Betrayal.
Okay.
So most likely that is where they came from. So they're not terribly old. I almost feel they did I don't know in which way they plan out these books, but they planned that they needed 16 and 16. So they needed a Legio. Hey, we got these guys. Let's put them together. We talked about paint scheme. Let's do these boys. And it just kind of feels like they didn't have rules put together for them. Because I doubt there's much fluff to them.
Hold on. I'm gonna disagree with you there. Because there were rules here. They just nerfed them for no reason. Okay, the whole entire add 6 is just a short range for one stratagem point. Just get rid of the don't move.
Yeah.
Right? Or the methodical event. Just get rid of, it's a cheaper thing. You lose the first turn. That's enough of a punishment.
Yep. All right.
I'm moving on.
Let's move on to greener pastures. Take us to a promised land here.
Legio Damicium. These guys, they might be a nice palate cleanser for you, Dan. Legio Damicium. They are the Unbroken Lords. Like many Titan Legios, they have a tragic backstory. So essentially, with this Legio, their thing was their STCs just went missing. Um,
Sorry,
there's
what?
there's no records of how they lost their STC databanks for the Titans. Just that the last Titan they built was a warlord called Somnium Ultimus, which I believe is like Last Dream or something like that, or Final Sleep. Dan, you took Latin.
You're a
Where is this?
residential Latin scholar.
Page
Scares me to say that.
150, italic text.
Page,
Somnium Ultimus.
page 150, the italicized text. Oh, I see it. I see it. Oh, God. Okay. What the fuck? That also makes no sense.
Because it's
It's
GW doing it.
ultimate.
It's fake Latin.
It's the ultimate dream, but it should be Somnia. It should be Somnia Ultimus, but whatever. Fuck it. It's ultimate
They
dream.
like putting the ums at the end to make it.
Yeah,
I
it's
got
just that's what annoys me. That's what that threw me. Whatever. Fuck it.
it's like Last Dream, Last Sleep, something like that. Oh
Yeah.
my god, that makes sense because it's the last Titans. Like this is our last dream of having a functional Forge world. That makes sense. Okay. But yeah, that's the last Titan they made, and it was almost 1,000 years before the Great Crusade arrives that Titan was built. So this was a Legio that had no reinforcing for literally 1,000 years.
Whoops.
Yeah. So as the decades turn, as the years turn to decades, decades into centuries, centuries into a millennia, pirate raids and all that good stuff that happens during Old Night just grinds them down. And by the time the Great Crusade reaches them, they have only 30 Titans left from a full Legio strength.
Ooh.
Yeah. Um, the Forge Master of Mars sees them and sees that they're pretty much on the border between the Segmentum Solar and the Segmentum, I want to say it was Pacificus? Yes, Pacificus. So basically, between the galactic southwest and southeast, that border directly down from the galactic core, that's kind of the line that they're sitting on, which means that it's kind of like a gateway between the two halves of the galaxy on the lower end of things. So the Mechanicus is like, ooh, this is a great opportunity because these hoes are desperate. They got no STCs, their Titan numbers are dwindling. This gives us our foothold in the Segmentum Pacificus, so that now we have the ability to influence legions like the Ultramarines and such, which are also Segmentum Pacificus, right? Or no, I have that backwards. My galactic cartography is rusty. But anyway, because on the board of these two segmentums, they go, this is a great opportunity. Let's really get these guys loyal to us. So they go, hey, yo, would you like your infrastructure to be improved? And they're like, yeah, we want improved infrastructure. Okay. Join the Imperium, swear oaths of loyalty to Mars, and we will start sending you new Titans. They go, oh, that's fantastic. Bring them. And they get Titans. The problem is, as the crusade goes on and these guys are out marching, their replacement titans and reinforcements keep getting delayed, caught up. Oops, we sent that titan to the wrong Legio. Give us like 6 solar months and we'll send it your way. And these little things all add up and they get really fed up with it. And they still have not been given replacement STCs. So they're very upset about this. They feel strung along and used because they are strung along and used. And in the final lead up to the heresy itself, all of a sudden, they're getting a lot of stuff. Some of it's unmarked stuff getting shipped to them. And not long after the heresy breaks out. Now, their Forge World actually has amazing industrial output, and they get the patterns for a rare Lehman Russ variant, and they basically outfit the entire segmentum with their Lehman Russes.
Yeah. That's good.
So
Wait, does it tell you what? Let me see.
it does not say what the pattern is, which is very upsetting because I would love to know like what Lehman Russ was being made.
On.
Like Is it the
What?
Vanaheim pattern?
Yeah,
Is it
keep talking.
like the Omega? Like,
Does it tell you does it tell you at least
it doesn't
what
tell us the
Forge World it came
weapon. It
from?
doesn't say anything. Just
Urdesh?
Forge World is
Provided to
Urdesh.
Urdesh, including Lehman. How do you spell Lehman? Lehman. All right,
It's
keep
like
talking.
lemon, but with an A.
Lehman Rust patterns.
But yeah, so basically, this whole time leading up, they've been basically abused. They've been told, "I'll give you nice things." They got a taste. They got taken away. It's like, "Hey, you want to join this rebellion we got going?" They're like, "Yeah, I want to rebel. I want to actually get the good shit." So they rebel, and the problem is, while they're supplying a lot of the War Master's efforts in the Segmentum Pacificus, they themselves aren't directly causing any issues. So they go under the radar for the first couple years of the heresy.
Hmm.
And basically, it's not until like mid heresy with the Cataclysm of Iron that they actually reveal truly their hand and just assault rival Forge Worlds. Um, so it's a smaller Titan Legio. I think at their height it says they had 85 Titans, and
Yeah,
they
that's small.
mainly have the mainline Titans, the Reavers, the Warlords, and the Warhounds. With literally a handful of um, the Warbringer being included at the height of their strength. So these guys very much have not great selections. But what's cool about them is that to make up for their lack of Titan strength, they ended up making a combined arms deployment style where they had their own basically like house guard roll out with them that was equivalent in training and equipment to the Solar Auxilia, which are like the elite of mortal forces. And apparently, these forces, known as Tempest Throngs, were arguably more effective than the Titans themselves on the battlefield.
Oh wow.
So if they drop Epic Heresy, that'd be a cool thing to do as a little project. And that concludes our little fluff lesson on them. Let's dive into the rules. So their first Legio trait is Trifling Pain. Essentially, the Unbroken Lords, they've been brought to the brink of extinction before. They're not going to let a little bit of pain slow them down now.
Okay.
So, when active in the movement phase, they can ignore a single critical damage effect. So essentially, they could ignore one effect, not one damage location, but one effect of being damaged. So if you have, stabilizers damaged, you could ignore that. Or if you have immobilized, you can ignore it. Ironically, if you're immobilized, you're more agile than you have one or two, I think the second tier. Because tier 3 of leg impairment is just straight up immobilized.
Hmm.
And tier 2 is your half speed and turns, I think.
I believe that's correct. Yeah.
I forget. But yeah, like so they can ignore one critical damage effect, and odds are that's gonna be a movement based one. Although I guess you could even do like a moderati wounded effect if you're on first fire, because it's any critical damage effect in the movement phase.
Yeah, it doesn't actually have to be a movement one. There's
Yeah,
just there's not as many that would be useful. But yeah, you could do
yeah,
something different.
yeah, and it's during the activation, so having your shields back when they're shut down, I don't think really helps much. I'm not sure how that would even work. So yeah,
Wait a minute.
um,
Couldn't you hold on? Okay, Void Shield collapse, the critical effect. Um, does that knock your Void Shields to zero, or
yes.
does it just? Oh, okay, it does. Never mind then.
Yeah, it
Okay.
does. Yeah, so
Well, okay, you can still
basically
ignore
it
it.
lets you ignore like Moderati, Princeps, those wounded effects,
Well,
and
you
the
can
leg damage.
ignore.
Because the other ones don't really matter in the movement phase.
Yeah.
That's nice, but it's a two-part rule. That's only part one. Part two is they can repair critical damage effects on a 4-up instead of a 5-up.
Ooh, I like
That's
This is
that.
good.
because they've become experts at jury rigging their Titans. Because they had 1,000 years without a single new Titan being minted. So yeah, they're good at fixing their shit. This
Why
is a
is
great
this?
traitor endurance based legion.
This is heavily reminding me of orcs a little bit,
Oh, that's a good shout. Next time
right?
our resident orc goes, "When the Stolpa's coming," I'm gonna tell him, "Here's your legio. Enjoy."
Yeah, this sounds very much like an orc player would love this. But anyway,
Yeah. The next Legio trait, Envious. So because they've been so starved of resources, when they see a Titan Legio with better resources, they're like, damn, I really hate that guy. I think I might knock his face off. So they add one to all command checks made by their Titans. So on at least one enemy Titan of an equal or larger scale, then their own is visible to them. So the Warhounds, oh, I see an enemy Warhound or bigger. Yeah, I'm gonna go kill that. I'm motivated to do shit. Reavers, Warlord, and so on. This is nice because the Titans that most struggle with their command checks are the ones that are most likely to get benefits off of this. Warhounds are almost guaranteed to get it, bring them from a 5 up to a 4 up for command checks, which brings them from a very dicey territory to an okay, I could kind of count on this. Reavers go from I could kind of count on this to this is fairly dependable at a 3 up. And if you get it on a Warlord, then it's might as well be your Princess because it's got a 2 up.
I
And that is
I like
I don't
this.
love command checks, but that's not a bad trade. This is
Exactly.
better than the last one.
It's better when it helps my traits, my command checks, than hurts yours, because then at least I know that I'm taking it. I know it's something that I want, and it's like you have this other cool rule, and this is as a nice bonus. It's not like super strong, but it's good enough that yeah, you'll get it off on some of your little ones maybe when you need it. Where the other one was like, oh yeah,
Hmm.
you don't take any negatives, but that's all you get.
But what if there are no negatives? Then what?
Yeah. I'd rather have a plus
It's a
than
not trade.
stopping a
Yeah, this
negative.
one's good. This one's nice.
Yeah,
Like I'm not like, oh my god, +1. Oh, my life has changed. But like, it's nice. It's a nice little bump.
yeah,
All right, and those are our traits already. This is actually shaping up to be a fairly decent Legio. Like it's playable.
absolutely.
This is playable. They
compared to the
have
last
one.
thing, anything is fucking playable at this point.
It's
Not wrong. All right. They have one Legio specific stratagem called Endurance Beyond Limit. This is a pricey one coming in at 3 strategy points. This stratagem may be purchased by any Legio Damicium player. Play it in the start of the combat phase where any units are activated. The player may immediately make a repair roll for each Titan, rolling a d6 number equal to half the servitor clades, rounding up.
okay.
Not terrible. It means Reavers go from 3 dice to 2 dice. Warhounds get 1 die, which is okay. And Warlords go from 4 to 2. So Reavers get the most proportional benefit out of this. But 3 is expensive.
Three's very expensive.
This is a big game stratagem.
I would point out that it's much more valuable on the larger shit than it is on the smaller shit. So if you're taking like, a Regia Maniple or a Mandatum, I feel like this would be a lot more valuable
It's
for that
equally
ability.
effective on Corsair because it's half rounding up, and Warlords have 4, Reavers have 3.
Okay,
Either way, the Titans get 2 each.
yeah. It's another repair. So, okay. I mean, going to Loyalist real
Oh,
quick.
I'm never going to say no to repairs,
Yeah,
but this
well,
is
because I was gonna, yeah,
expensive.
exactly. It's just but here's the thing. There have been times in the game where I'm like, I don't get the repair that I need, or so. Let me see here. A warlord has 4.
It's
Yeah.
good in the mid to late game.
Yeah,
It
and
is
I think
good
like
in
it's
a
great to
big
like throw up
game.
that void shield if you need, or maybe even repair that void shield if now you had the void shield. I think you
I
proc
would
that.
at least play a 1,500 point game before I considered this one.
Oh, absolutely.
But it is good. It's definitely a powerful effect. It's just expensive. So it's hard to fit it into smaller games, where it's also proportionally less impactful because you have less Titans that this is going off on.
Yeah,
Because this is one of those army wide here's a buff things.
But do you take this
Because it's
over other stratagem options?
another reason to
maybe.
play bigger games. It's less ooh, oh no, what do I take instead? Because you can take both in a big game, right? When you have like 5, 6 points to play with. In a small game, this would be your everything, and that's generally not great. In a small game, you
I
almost
would, I
always
would,
take thermal mines,
I
for
would take
example.
this. Yeah, I would take this at a 1750 game because I feel like if you need it, and everyone always needs that extra repair, especially in the mid to late game. But I feel like if you need it, I think it's valuable for that three. But you got to start hitting that 1750 point limit, or else it's just I think in my opinion it's just useless.
Right. And then their war gear. This is where the orc flavor really comes out. I am shocked these guys aren't painted bright green with red stripes to go faster. All right, secondary plating. Any Legio Damicium Titan may take secondary plating for 10 points. The first critical hit a Titan with this upgrade receives is downgraded into a devastating hit instead. As soon as this happens, the war gear is lost for the rest of the battle. This is nice. It means that you could laugh at the first warp missile every game. And generally, you only get one warp missile. Or five if you're playing, the silly Corsair. I don't think
And
it's
it's only
game
10
breaking,
points.
but it's also exactly it's only
Yeah,
10
yeah, I was
points.
saying, only 10
I got
points.
10 spare points. Done. Yeah. Not a dud. It's not a default, but it's not a dud.
No, it's fine. If if you want to play this
It's
Legio,
not
it's
going to help
absolutely fine.
against massed small attacks, but
Yeah.
it will save your ass from a melta cannon. All right, moving on to the Legio specific personal traits. First up, we have Beyond Death. When this Princeps suffers catastrophic damage, make a command check for the Titan before rolling on the catastrophic damage table. If successful, do not roll on the table. Uh-oh, Dan says. But I like rolling on the table. I like it when my Titan goes boom.
Yeah, when it
He
goes
does
boom.
enjoy that.
So if you're successful on this check, you move the Titan d6 inches in any direction of your choice.
Okay.
Stop before it collides with anything, and then you immediately suffer a magazine detonation.
I like it. I like it already.
I think
Yep.
this would be great as a strat instead of a warlord trait,
Yeah.
or rather a princeps trait. But this is a funny ability.
Yes.
I would absolutely take this as a strat. For 1 point, 2 points, I'd even consider it. As a strat, I feel like it would be like a ooh. Do I really want to just give up my warlord like that for a cheap explosion? The answer might be yes. The answer might be yes. Like get a cheap warhound as your princess. Just ram it down their throat with plasma or something. I don't know. Don't love it, but it is funny.
Listen, if it's the best print kept trait out of the three, I'm not disappointed.
Yeah, that's fair. But Dan, you're like this next one even better. Or maybe
Say,
you'll hate it. Bitter Soul. The Princess of Titan does not have their speed when they suffer a hit from a quake weapon that is not deflected by their shields, nor do they pivot when they suffer a hit from a concussive weapon that is not deflected by their shields.
Oh wow.
Eat
okay.
your heart out, Legio Krytos.
Yeah,
They don't
that's a
care. They just go.
okay.
That could be fun on a melee build because you're not slowing that down unless you take out those legs. And if a secondary plating, you ignore that first crit.
Mhm.
That has some play to it. And the third one, Limitless. Once per game during the combat phase, the Princeps' Titan may make a weapon attack with any and all of its disabled weapons as if they were not disabled.
Whoa.
And you don't take a strength 10 hit to the body.
Yeah. Fucking. Oh my god.
I was waiting for like
Yeah.
and the bad part. Oh, no bad part. Okay. Wait. Go back a few
It's
pages.
once per game, but you don't take damage, and it's with all of your weapons. Well, all of your disabled weapons.
Disabled weapons.
Probably just one, and it has to be disabled. But there's no
Situational.
downside other than the situational aspect of it.
Yeah.
At least
I,
you're not punching yourself in the face to do it.
I mean, it's heedless rage, but better because you're not
Yeah,
hurting
because you can do it
yourself,
on
and like I
guns
said, it's
too.
all of them. It's better because heedless rage was also melee.
Yep. The only drawback is you can't do it every turn. Oh no. You'll probably fix it if it's a melee weapon anyway. So the every turn thing doesn't matter for the other one. And for this one, I mean, if your weapons are disabled, either you're really lucky or you're close to dead anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's no like penalty to hit or anything. It's not terrible. I do think my favorite though of these three is Bitter Soul on a melee build because it just means you could get there and they can't stop you.
Yes. It's the
Yeah.
most universally useful of those.
Yep.
I'm
I mean, true. Many times you won't be facing Legio that has those weapons because Power Fists, I don't rate them that highly, at least. I don't think
no.
most people in our group do. And then Quake Cannons will have other targets on the table, but still, it's something and it's usable.
I'm
They're not phenomenal, but they're
no.
not duds.
I'm worried that because of how much we disliked the previous Legio, that is making us look at these guys with some rose-colored glasses. They're
You should start
very
this entire series with that Legio. They're
yeah.
like, oh my god, how amazing is this? I get plus 3
No,
inches to my Melta range at short.
someone already made a comment that like I'm like the golden retriever of the fucking podcast, and I'm always so optimistic and happy.
You
The
generally
fact that
are.
Legio made me visibly upset should give you enough of a warning about that Legio.
These guys are very average to me.
Yeah, it's meh.
I don't
I'm
think
not
their
mad about it.
stuff is great in any way, but it's not bad. Being able, they're good at repairing, and that's a very useful skill and ability to have because you are going to need to repair stuff. You are going to take damage. You are going to heat up. You are going to lose shields. So it's just kind of all around useful. Their second plating is nice. The Princeps shapes are fine. I think you still might take book stuff, but they're fine. It's not a feel bad. You take this guy, you take these guys, you take some of their stuff, and I think you feel okay. You
And
don't
it's
feel
good for
great because there's
orcs.
some Legios where you feel great. How do these guys
And then
look?
their scheme. This is one of those top half, bottom half schemes. Top half is like a cream bone color. Bottom half is this nice royal purple. Is that royal purple? That's a bit light for
I
royal
think
purple.
so.
More of a, I don't know my purple terms well enough.
Children purple.
It's what?
Emperor's Children purple.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something like that. I feel like when they made this, it's like, hey, this almost looks like what's that one from Prospero? Thanos the one
Uh,
that everyone
Zestio
wants.
Blacks? Zestio Blacks?
Zestiovax.
Zestio
They
Blacks.
almost look like Zestiovax. I'm sure someone got really excited when they saw the pictures of these, and then went, "Oh wait, it's not Zestiovax."
Is
I
there,
really
dude?
hope they do a Black Shield book with Zestiovax in it because people have been crying for that since this game dropped.
Yeah.
That's a Legio that has fan backing, where even if its rules were shit, people would play it.
yeah, yeah.
And that concludes Damicium.
Yeah, very, very okay. All right, Dan.
All
I
right.
think you got the last
Yeah,
Legio
I'll
here
take
for
this one.
us.
And the only reason I'm taking the last one, to be quite honest,
Palette
is
cleanser.
because I noticed that their
It said
Forge
the word
World.
custodes. That's all I had to say. It said custodes.
No. I noticed even before that because I'm such a nerd. I noticed the word Arachnus, and I'm like, huh, that's a Custodes weapon. And then I saw Custodes, and I'm like, oh, hello.
Then Dan
This is
finished
also
reading the sentence.
yeah, I know. Yeah, they have an interesting backstory. Also, Legio Tritonis, or what's their other name? Do they have another name? The
Dark
Dark Tide.
Tide.
Oh,
It's kind of neat.
okay, emo 90s
I
emo
don't mind.
band.
Well, yeah, nothing wrong with that.
So these guys hail from basically Arachnus. Fun fact, they were independent, completely 1000% independent, and they heavily resisted any integration into the Imperium. And they only surrendered. They actually fought the Imperium for quite some time, believe it or not, and held out. But eventually they were brought in. Um, and they actually worked really well and they started selling weapons to the Custodes. Basically because they focus in on laser technology. So, little side note: Custodes have a weapon known as the Arachnus laser blaster, and it's essentially a high-powered but condensed las cannon. Um, it's just a better las cannon. That's the nicest way to put that. Um, but yeah, no. So they started basically selling these blaze cannons and storm cannons into the Custodes forces to kind of garner respect with the Emperor. Um, And in fact, a lot of people thought that they were the most loyal of all the legions. Of course, hindsight is 2020. Um, so kind of cutting a long story short, essentially, when the heresy popped out, Arachnus kind of was secret about it, um, because they didn't want anyone to know what they were doing because they were making money. But then they figured out that they were actually selling weapons to the War Master, and so they are traitor. Because basically they just plundered resources. They basically plundered resources. They stole resources and then like resold it for a higher margin. They're almost like
They're
the
pirates.
marketing Legio. Yeah, it's I don't even say pirates. It's like they're
What, entrepreneurs?
yeah, almost weird.
The entrepreneurs who steal.
Yeah, and they are extremely like bloody. Like it does make mention that they very almost like Mortis kind of fears them a little bit, only because they literally just snuff everything out. War crimes don't make sense to them. Everyone is guilty. If the entire like planet is raised, then you've done a good job. Kind of nonsense. That's why they're called Dark Tide because they're literally just snuffing out all hope. Okay,
I
okay.
also say really like that new what's it called? Left 4 Dead knockoff.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do this. Legio trait, Tide of Iron. Any Legio Tritonis maniple may select a Warlord Titan in place of any Reaver Titan as part of its mandatory components. Note that for the purposes of the maniple rules, the replacement Titan does not count as the Titan as the type is replaced, and they did that on purpose. All right, so you could take a Warlord instead of a Reaver.
It's not bad.
I
If you
like
like
it.
the heavier Titans, it's pretty good.
Yeah, like to have your Titans. Yeah.
I forget. Corsair does not specify Reaver Titans,
No, it
right?
does not. It
So
does
you can
not.
have Disco Warlords?
Yes, you can disco Warlord.
Woo!
That's immediately what I thought when I read this.
That's kind of funny. I like that. Is it good? Probably not. I mean, it helps overcome one of the downsides of a
6 inch,
Warlord Titan.
6 inch sidestepping Warlord is a fucking
No,
scary
no, no,
thing.
no, no. Not your boosted move.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
only
no.
okay.
Yeah. So it's only 4 inches, but still 4 inches sideways. Is that extra inch over boosting and going sideways?
Okay. I like it. It's listen, it's good. It's not like amazing. It's not bad. It's not meh. It's good. If you want to take a Warlord,
Yeah.
take a Warlord instead of a Reaver.
It just gives you more options in a build.
Yeah.
It's
I
literally like
understand. Oh, they have 2 Legio traits. Oh,
You're the man
okay.
who doesn't
Second
read
Legio trait.
ahead.
No, I don't. I like to react in the moment.
You don't even read ahead in your
Uh,
sentences.
says you don't have an unboxing channel.
what? Legio
All
trait?
right.
What? I just read Legio trait. How much more than that? So Rebel and Slaughter. Add 1 to the result of all command checks made by friendly Legio Tritonis Titans for each enemy Titan previously destroyed during this battle to a maximum of 3. You know what? Okay. Okay. There's a reason why I don't like it, but it's probably going to be for a very specific reason. Um,
Go for it.
I think it directly contradicts the first Legio trait. Hear me out. So Reavers and Warlords have generally a high command, right? So you're looking at 3s or 2s, right? This would mostly help Warhounds. But you don't want to take Warhounds, you want to take Reavers and Warlords.
I I agree that I'm not a big fan. I don't exactly agree with the same exact reason why. Part of my reason is, again, it's the for all the Titans that you've killed up to a max of 3. Okay, so maybe after like turn 1 or 2, maybe you'll have a +1. If you're getting to the point where you're getting your +3, you're probably either there's nothing left on the board between you and your opponent, so getting pluses won't matter, or you might be beating them so much because now you've killed 3 of their Titans. I don't know if this bonus is going to do that much for you overall. I can see with these where you get to replace the Reaver even into some other mana pools where maybe the thing is, since it doesn't count as the Reaver, you won't get the Reaver's ability. But
Knife fighting warlord?
maybe you just want to be able to take it.
That's true. It opens up more options. It's like I want a warlord, but I can't fit in a warlord and this mana pool's minimum. At least I could swap out the Reaver for a Warlord if I wanted to give just the Warhounds the bonus, or what have you.
Or since it doesn't count, it would still
Like
work.
a
Like
Disco.
Axiom is a Warlord Reaver Warhound. You could do double Warlord with the Warhound. Hey, they all still benefit because that benefit doesn't require you to be a Reaver to get it. Stuff like that. Any other ones that are good? Or Janissary, you could do that if you want. It would work with that because you don't have to be a Reaver to do the ability.
Mm-hmm.
There's some uses there. I do understand your dislike of it. I dislike it for a different reason.
To me, it's like I'm going to be playing with the bigger Titans because of the Legio trait.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I agree.
Listen, is it bad? No, it's meh. This is a meh for me. You know what I mean?
It's a meh for me.
It's a meh. It's not good. It's just it's okay.
But it's the extra.
A couple silly builds. That's it. Yeah.
It's the extra. They have another trait, and then you get a meh trait, and the first trait could give you some cool options. So that's something.
Like together, it forms like okay, they have a trait.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like 2 half traits.
All right. Legio specific it's a 3. All right, boy. Here we go. Legio specific stratagem, Stygian Veil. Or Stygian Veil. This stratagem can be purchased by the Legio Tritonis player. To play this stratagem during any strategy phase. The Legio Tritonis player may immediately pick up to 3 points anywhere on the battlefield. Each point must be 10 inches away, or at least 10 inches away from a previous chosen point. Any section of the battlefield within 3 inches of the chosen point's block line of sight, and any non-Legio Tritonis unit within 6 inches of 1 or more points suffer a -2 penalty of any command checks they make. At the start of the end phase, the stratagem effect ends.
So it's like 3 concealment barges in one
in
that you
one.
can't overlap.
But with the additional effect of suffering a -2 to command checks.
The 3-inch diameter 3-inch radius is kind of annoying because it means you can't just plop down a blast template. You have to make a custom template. But other than that, it's pretty cool.
3 stratagems is heavy, but it's a really. So this
each
one also
concealment barrage is 1, and this is essentially 3 concealment barrages.
Exactly, in one.
You can't put next to each other, which is okay. It just means you have 3 points you're messing with.
Yeah.
Having one place you super mess with.
And the -2 command checks does help. This can be good against knights.
That kind of offsets the minimum distance.
Yeah, and this also can be used against knights. My thing is, it's heavily dependent on the board you play on.
Yes.
So, like, the forest board we played on at the last event, this would be useless, in my opinion. Because we were playing the forest not as line of sight blocking, but as -2 to shoot through. So you really can't hide anything behind a 3-inch blast at all. And everything was -2 to be shot anyway. But if you're playing like an urban board, a city board, where you can actually hide shit, and you have like actual like alleyways or buildings that are blocking, this is actually pretty good. This can actually fuck around with your opponent. And especially if he has knights, right? If you have knights, places where the knights are going. Actually, hold on a second.
Honestly, place it behind them so you could shoot them just fine.
Right.
And then take a debuff.
Here's my 40K tournament mindset. Are you ready?
No.
No. No, there's a reason why, and it'll make sense why I'm doing this. Because I was thinking about the knight player. So, can I place this in front of my Titan so that if a knight player charges me and they get inside the circle, they can't see me? You know what I'm saying? It's so hard to explain without.
No, I understand what you mean. So the question I would have, and maybe this is an obvious question, do you need line of sight to target someone in melee?
I had to make this ruling at my last Titanicus event.
Yes, you did, which is why I'm asking the question.
What was the ruling?
I ruled that yes, you do need line of sight because it's an attack, and all attacks require line of sight. Because melee does not provide any line of sight exceptions.
Okay, so when they talk about attack, there's no separation for melee at all in there.
Correct.
Okay.
Because what happened was we had a concealment barrage, and models were entirely inside of it. And I went, well, if this template blocks line of sight, you can't see in, true, but you also can't see out, so you can't attack out of it or into it.
which is why I was asking that question. And I agree. So this, I think, is then a little more powerful than I'm giving it credit for, because if you are, I mean, again, you purchase stratagems before the game is played. You could say, no, I don't want the stratagem, I want something else. But if you're playing a knight player, or let's say like a melee heavy Titan Legion, I know I saw this once when I was watching Tabletop
On a
Standard.
turn you anticipate getting charged, you go, ha! You can't punch me.
Yeah, exactly. Tabletop Standard had a guy bring in 5 melee reavers, and 3 of them got to close combat. They shredded because they were built to shred. And you could easily place this and be like, nope, can't see me. Sorry.
Here's my one issue with that: is it means you yourself are going to lose out on a turn of combat.
Yes, but it stops them from hitting me. Remember, they're charging in.
Because you have a turn to maneuver that you might not necessarily get because you're so focused on hiding in this bubble.
Very true, but it's a good like oh shit button.
Yeah, no, it's good to be like, oh, I need to endure this extra turn. Let me just
exactly. Hide. And the -2 penalty, the command checks is still really nice too.
-2 is all right.
Because that's what 9 inches, 3 inches plus 6 inches. Yes, so that's 9 inch of that's 9 inches of.
No, 6 inches of the edge.
Yeah, so
not the edge. I mean, of the point.
Of the point.
6 of the point, not the edge. So it does not add up to 9.
One or more. No.
Read full sentences.
Yeah, any non-legion target within 6 inches of 1 or more points.
Of the point. You were saying 9 because you were adding it off of the 3-inch bubble. It's just 6 off the point.
Oh, okay.
There you go. So if you put this down to save yourself from a charger, you still might not lose your turn. Depends on how close the charger was able to get. If they're able to like base you and get in your way, that's potentially problematic. Well, even then, I mean, you could still potentially move. There might be some options. Like if they were coming from your side, you pop this to your side. It's still movement phase. Now I go and I push forward. I'm now no longer in it. True. Or part of me is not in it. I don't need to center this on me. I need to center this on where you're going to be.
Mm-hmm. No, there's definitely gameplay in there. I'm sure someone smarter than me could really abuse the shit out of this.
Yeah,
definitely a 3-pointer.
Yeah, you want a good city board. You want to take this when you know you can get some use, when you can block off roads and things like that. For 3 points, though, I'm not sold, but it's not bad.
It's not the worst one.
No, it's interesting, and if you know you play on boards where this could be useful, you could get some play out of this for sure.
Even on a non-ideal board, it's useful because a 3-inch radius is going to cover any base in the game. So you could position it just so that you're fully in it, they can't get fully in it, and then like you said, you step out of it.
Someone gives the first fire order, and you place it on a fucking warlord on his gun. And say nope.
Or place it on your own knights.
Oh, yeah?
Someone first fires to take out your charging knights. You can't see my knights, now they'll charge in and get you.
Well, the problem with that is that strats come before orders.
Oh, that's true.
Well, that's fine, but let's face it. If I'm in the right position, you know full well that I'm going to try to charge, and you're going to try to first fire.
100%.
Yeah. I might stop you then from first fire.
Order to play out of your opponent, which is itself useful.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Legion-specific war gear. Radioactive warheads. Any Legio Tritonis Titan armed with either Apocalypse missile launchers or, again, Apocalypse missile launchers, Jesus. Or an Apocalypse missile launcher may be equipped with radioactive warheads for 25 points. Radiative?
They are radioactive, though.
Oh, God.
Yeah, they are radioactive. So it's not radioactive, it's radiative.
25 points. Yeah. So long as the Titan does not already have an upgrade affecting this weapon. All right, so the same as the last one. All right. Each weapon a Titan is armed with must be upgraded separately. When making an attack with this weapon, with this upgrade against a target with an active void shield, each hit roll of a 6 counts as 2 hits. Oh, so it gives it
rapid fire
on an Apocalypse missile launcher for 25 points.
It's rapid fire, but without the stipulation that it has to be on not 6s only.
Oh, it doesn't say natural to hit. You are right.
No. I mean, like with rapid fire, if you need a 6 to hit, you don't get rapid fire.
That is true.
Okay. Even if you need the 6 to hit.
But here's the thing: Hold on, I need to see the rapid trait. The rapid trait specifically states also that it's a natural 6, right?
I
Like you
think
can't.
everything. I think everything in this game is a natural.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
I unlike 40K, I don't think they distinguish here. It's just
okay,
that
good.
is what
No,
it
no,
is. Yeah.
no. 20. Okay, so it's 2,500 points to put on a warlord.
Which is the only spot you would put it,
Yeah.
I think, cost
I
wise. That's
I don't know. 25.
on average. So you're rolling 10 dice. That's on average a little over, not quite 2. It's like 1.6 or something like that. So you're getting between 1 to 2. So you're getting essentially 1 to maybe 2 extra hits. I mean, you could roll really good. You could
Yeah,
roll and get
possibly. Yeah,
three
I would say
sixes and
possibly
do well,
more.
but I think it's too
Uh,
expensive.
yeah, that's what I'm. So the reason I'm thinking it's not too expensive, so I'm like literally falling between both arguments
Sit on that
because
fence.
the reason is because I'm able to fit 2 tracking auspexes in my list. And tracking auspexes are 20 points a pop. So that's 40 points that I just put on war gear. So, and that's because I take 2 warlords. The Legio trait is select, a warlord titan to replace a Reaver titan. So you can only have 1 warlord. Um,
You could have more than one because there's Legios
I
where
know, I
you're
know, but
replacing it.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking like maybe you build towards like 1 warlord in a Reaver maniple, and this is what you give him for 25 points,
Yeah.
and he's like, no, ah, like, okay, like, I don't know if it's too expensive or not. Is the thing.
I think it's too expensive for what it does. You pay 20 points for something that ignores, essentially a to hit modifier. A 1, but a to hit modifier, essentially. This is 25 points for, on average, I will cause 1 extra hit to your shields. Because it's also only on active void shields. It won't actually help when the shields are down. Now, your APOC missiles probably aren't going to do anything when the shields are down anyway, but if they got some damage on them, you fire it. I think it's too much. 20 maybe or 15, but unless you roll amazing on that one roll,
Yeah.
it might not feel good. And if you don't roll any 6s, you're going to feel like it was a big waste.
But the times I've shot a Mega Bolter and seen like 4 6s on out of the 6 dice.
Agree. It can happen. This is the
This
kind
thing
of
could spike hard.
yeah. You're going to love it when it spikes for you, and you're going to say, "Why did I waste my points when it spikes against you?" And the problem is when you're rolling 10 dice and you're looking for a single number on it, any roll is, statistics don't occur in small amounts. They occur when you large amounts of things. So you're going to go a game where you never get 1, and then you're going to do another game one time where you fired it 4 times and got like 12 extra hits or something crazy, or well above that if that's too close to it. I think it's too many points. They're very expensive Legio. Their
Yeah. No,
stratagem
I
was
agree.
I
3.
believe in pointing into spikes, though, generally. Because if you don't point into the spikes, then someone's going to leave a game saying that was bullshit. Plus, 25 spare points isn't that hard in this game to get. It's a great place to dump those spare points.
I find in my mind where it starts becoming a little harder to get is in the earlier books. I agree. If this Legio was 2 books ago, 3 books ago, I agree. The only reason I don't entirely agree now is because now there's a page full of mutations and all those sorts of things. Like there's a lot of extras now that you can buy and slap on a Titan. Where when I'm looking at 25 points, you better be beating out some of the other stuff I might want to spend those points on. Where before there wasn't all that kind of cost.
Yeah,
Not
that's
bad.
fair.
I'm not sold on it. Come on, good Legio. Sorry, good
Traits.
personal traits. Let's get some good
I mean, it's
personal
not.
traits in here.
Listen, this Legio's not meh. It's not amazing. It's good. All right, tactical genius. While the princeps is on the battlefield, the player may re-roll the dice when determining who will be first player. If they do so, the princeps titan cannot be activated in the following strategy phase.
So, the counterpart to this from the generic traits is at any point in your turn, at the start of the phase, you just go, you know what? I'm first player now.
Mm-hmm.
That's once per game.
This is any time this goes on. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
This is nice if you need to fish to have that first activation in a turn.
Yeah.
But I think the generic one is stronger because you could flip the
Yeah,
order
so
between movement and combat phases.
yes, the
Yeah.
generic one I feel is stronger insofar that you can force the opponent to move first and then steal it in the shooting phase.
Mm-hmm.
I 100% agree. But it's only once you can do that.
I know that's why I'm like on the fence with this.
Yeah.
It is
It's
not terrible.
no, it's again a case of if it does you good, you're gonna feel good about your choice. And if you do those rerolls and you keep missing them, or you don't need the rerolls because you're winning the rolls anyway, you might feel like a little bit of waste.
Well, if your opponent rolls a 10, then you're not going to bother, and you're going to get your normal orders anyway.
Yeah.
But if your opponent rolls like a 3 and you roll a 2, it's like, all right, well, I'm not in a position where I might not necessarily want to take an order, but I do want to go first. So
Yeah.
let's gamble it.
That's true. You have to make sure you don't want to actually give an order to your princeps, but and sometimes the reason you really want to go first is because of the order you want to give a particular titan for what it's going to do. As long as it's
True.
not them, I could see if you took this Legio taking this over the guarantee one turn. I can absolutely see that. Not bad one. How about this vengeful lust? What about that?
Yeah, Lust for Vengeance. Once per game, when the Princeps Titan suffers critical damage, the Titan may respond in kind. Oh, okay, cool. After resolving the effects of the attack that caused the critical damage, the Princeps Titan may immediately make a single attack with any of its non-disabled weapons against the unit that caused the critical damage. If this attack destroys the enemy unit, the opponent's activation ends. Huh!
That's not bad. I do like that actually.
Once per game,
I
you get a
like
free
that.
swing back. Okay, not
In
terrible.
the middle of someone activating.
Yeah. Yeah, it's once they take that, it's whatever caused the critical. When that weapon, essentially, I guess what you would say is
The
done, you
reason
get
I
to go.
like the reason I like this is because most people, when they lose the activation, it's at the end of the game, they're activating Titans that they know are going to die, right? So they want to get their full value out of that Titan, right? Before it gets popped. So let's say you activate a Warlord before it gets popped. He shoots me, gives me critical to my legs. I go, all right, hold up a second before you target my legs and try to kill me. I'm going to shoot my Gatling blaster at you, or I'm going to shoot my plasma cannon at you, and you kill him. He can't shoot the rest of his weapons.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
No,
That's
this one is good. You know,
yeah.
I understand why it's only a once per game, but yeah, no, this one is good, and you line up a good time to use it. I like this.
All right. Let's see what the last one is. Leader of Arachnus. The presence of this Princeps within this battle group allows it to purchase the Legio specific stratagem Stygian Veil multiple times, with each purchase after the first costing 2 stratagem points instead of 3.
And it
And
can only
again,
be
though
once
the
per
stratagem is
phase.
purchased multiple times, it can only be played once per phase.
Kind of tasty-ish. Because we did agree that it was a decent pick at 3. Because you
Yeah,
got 3 templates.
but do you want 2 for
But you do
5?
get diminishing. It's weird
Ooh,
because
for
you have diminishing
5.
returns on the WoW factor, and 5 is a lot of points.
5 is like your points
Still have
for the
1
game.
stratagem point. No,
But it is
you
strong.
have 6. You have
And
6.
you do get
Yeah,
3
so
more
it's your
templates.
points for the game. You have 1 spare. You're super. You have few
Blind barrage,
options with
done.
1 left.
No, concealment barrage to really block line of sight for a turn.
Yeah.
It's not the worst thing to have in your playbook. It's not the best trait.
Princeps trades are known, right? They're not secret.
They're known.
Yeah, so someone has this Princeps trade, you already know. That's the problem. Play
Yeah.
around the fact that he has two 3-shot blind barrages.
But like that's not necessarily something you're going to be able to play around because I get to decide when I put them down and what I do with them.
True.
Let's face it, you're probably doing it either reasonably early where they have, their full brunt of their army to bear on you, or you're going to do it late because like I got like 2 Titans left and this one his shields are down and he's hurt and all and you're off to my side. I don't know if it's something you're going to be able to play around. You'll know I have it and sort of, but if you're taking this Legio, I'm probably going to think you have at least one anyway. Telling me now that you have two, all right. I already assumed you had one. Like that's, if you're playing them, that's probably something that you want. You got to learn to play into this sort of thing. So I still think you take Lust for Vengeance instead.
Lust for Vengeance, I think is. I mean, there are so many times when I'm like, I lose initiative, right? And we both have Titans that are both shit. And he wins initiative, kills off that Titan, and it feels bad because you're like, ah, fuck. He won the initiative, so he gets it. So to be like, all right, no. You did crit damage to me, but you didn't kill me. I'm going to kill you off, That's nice. Yeah. Also, it doesn't specify ranged weapon, by the way, so it could be a melee as well.
Yeah. Yeah, if they're close to you, you can swing back with your melee. It doesn't care the type of weapon. And their color scheme is nice.
Let me see. Oh, yeah, I didn't even look at
it muted colors.
Oh, yeah, it makes sense.
I enjoy muted colors.
The Dark Tide, yeah, no, it makes sense. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, man. There's so many Legios. Oh my god!
All right, we made it halfway through, guys. Good job.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna do loyalists. Woo.
Big winner. Who's the big winner from this list?
I'm so wowed by Scoria's crew.
Yes.
I'm blanking on the name. Vulturum, the Gore Crows. I'm still wowed by them.
I like the Gore Crows. I like the twins.
Yeah.
The Twin Legio. I like Legio Furion. Trying to remember their damn name. They were at the very beginning. The one that we were like, oh yeah, they're Death Guard. The Noxious Fumes assholes.
You did that one too.
Wasn't
that Mordaxus?
Well, you make the Mordaxus, yeah, you make the blast bigger.
Yeah, that was the last episode.
Mordaxus is another one. Yeah. Those are my top 4. The twins. Volpa I like too. I do like Volpa.
They're neat. I think their stuff doesn't feel quite as strong to me, but they're neat. If only because of their paint scheme would I get them in like a top.
Honestly, the reason I feel like they're a little more stronger now is because of the stratagems. Is because of the new strategy. They didn't have the stratagems originally when they first came out.
No, it is better because of that. Still not amazing, but it is better.
Like warp jump a fucking Volpa super duper Reaver that could hit you basically on 2s. Ugh.
And we know I won't bother asking which one's the big loser or big losers because we know that one.
No, there's only one. Because here's the funny part. I'm trying to review. As I was talking about how shit that Legion was, I was literally reviewing the history in my head of like, have we ever distastefully talked about a Legion this badly before?
No.
And I literally cannot remember on this podcast a single time where we were like, wow, this Legion fucking blows balls.
Yeah.
I literally cannot remember.
There's ones where we weren't as sold on, like in Furnace, we weren't necessarily sold on because like, man, you better love templates because if not, they ain't gonna do much for you. But that's okay.
But you still love templates. It works. Yeah. This Legio was like, you can't love anything because none of it fucking worked.
You better love that paint scheme, and you better love ridiculous names. That's all you got.
I wonder what the story is. I wonder why it's like such a shit Legion.
My thoughts. What I believe they do. It's no secret that this game was first kind of made for like the love of what it could be and like, oh, we'll put it out, whatever. Oh man, this game got popular. Okay, we got to do more. I think for specialist games, I don't think GW gives them a lot of help. So I think it's probably a very small crew. 2, I think when you have sort of smaller groups play testing and come out with rules and things like that, you can get very insular with what you do and not noticing in the larger grand scheme of it. It could be in the people who were play testing it and going through it that like, what was it? Because theirs was APOC missiles and you disable them and all, right?
Yeah.
It could be that in their play groups when they're play testing and stuff, that APOC missiles are just crushing people. Because maybe everyone brings a bunch, and maybe, if you have, say, 10 people playing a game, you could say several of them are taking this. You could say, hey, man, this thing's, super good. We're taking it. We're seeing what it does. We better up the points on that. Where then you go out to the much larger group. You go out and put it into the world to play it. And like, that's not the option that people want. Or they look and say, well, I'll never do that. I'll just go for this other option instead. For an extra 20 points, now I'm looking at, Gatling blasters or something like that. I think part of it is the amount of people that have playtested it. I think it could be the proclivities for those who playtest it, as well as they're just doing probably what they think is cool. They might not be worried about fair. I don't want to necessarily use the word fairness, but fairness between Legios. As I wouldn't say necessarily as competitive players, but players who want to be able to compete, want to be able to feel like I bring my army of the set amount of points, you bring your army of the set amount of points, and we're going to have a good game because we're reasonable to each other. I don't know how much they put into that thought, because I would say in these Legios, there are definite winners. There's several that are, not necessarily losers, and then a loser overall. So,
yeah.
I also think that in this group, they might be playing bigger games than the general population does. Because a lot of the narratives there is like, this side brings a 3,500 point force. And it's like, whoa, we play like 1750 to 2K. What's going on here?
Yeah, we don't got all day.
Britain be Britain. Yeah, they go to pubs and they drink beer and they play, which is something
they travel like 5 minutes when they fall out of their bed and into the game shop, whereas we travel like an hour, 2 hours.
I wish I could do that. I open a game store with like beer, right, in a gastro pub, kind of like Warhammer World. Oh God, that'd be so cool.
So where do we go from here? Is our goal to finish out some other stuff in this trader book because there's some other stuff to talk about?
Yeah, I was going to say we could combine the Corrupted Titans with the stratagems.
There's not a chance we're going to be able to do all that at once.
That's a lot of stratagems.
Not a chance.
And there's a lot of mutated titans.
Well, no, I was going to focus on the trader ones. You don't have to focus on the general ones.
Trader-specific strats, maybe.
Okay.
There's still a lot of mutations.
No, it's only 2 pages.
There was a day.
There's like 20 per page.
There was a day when I thought we were going to get through 6 Legios of recording. There's not a chance we're doing both of those at once.
Oops, only 4 at a time.
Yeah.
And even that gets tight sometimes.
Yeah, it does.
That's really it. That's what I was going to say. Corrupted and man, I can't fucking
Warrior?
speak. And and chaos specific stratagems. Because all the rest of it is shared. All the rest of it is universal.
Okay. So the idea for those listening is we'll go through the other things that are specific in this book, and then we'll start taking a look at the Loyalist book, which I actually don't have. I have not looked at any of those ones.
I have it.
All right. I have it. Good. We'll share some stuff around for that. So
yeah.
All right. Anything else then this evening, gentlemen?
No, just this was fun.
I do believe that's everything.
Just don't play that one Legio, and you're fine. If you do, so if you do listen to this and say especially on the YouTube, because that's where you can put comments, put down what you like about them. I'm curious. I mean, if you love them, go for it, have fun. But I'm curious if anyone actually plays it. What the draw is. Work. Yeah, and if you make it work, like what do you do? Like
maybe. Oh no, here we go. Wait. I got it.
The story is don't be a gatekeeper.
Wait, I got it.
Okay, Dan. Well, it's like that 1 in every 10,000 game scenario.
Legio versus Legio, you get +2 stratagem points.
Okay. So you have 5 to play with.
So they're the most generic Legio to give you stratagem points without feeling bad about taking none of their shit.
Oh my god.
But you also get no good out of it. I'd rather take no Legio and get
and
not
deny
give you
your
a bonus.
opponent the 2 points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I out stratagem point you.
So fucking ridiculous.
But
it's for that guy that wins too many games. Like, here, take this Legio as your handicap, so the rest of us can get a chance.
All right, guys.
All right. Well, so we'll call it there, and that'll do it for us tonight. As always, we want to thank you for listening, especially if you are a fan of some of the Legio, especially in this one, the ones that we're a little bit harder on. If so, especially if you are going through the YouTube channel for this, feel free to leave comments and discuss with us, just as we brought up, the ways in which you make them work or the strengths that you find in those particular Legios. For next week, obviously, GW had its big set of reveals, including all kinds of things for Heresy. So this upcoming week, that's going to be the crux of our discussion. As always, have some good hobbying and some great gaming.